Forsaken Winds. After traveling to Aenalad, near For's Hollow, you encountered many Durastian soldiers pillaging supplies from the wood elven village they burned. Jiri deceived his way into their midst, and then T. Rome led the rest of you in an assault from the flank. Very quickly, combat broke out, and you all defeated multiple soldiers, bugbear warg tamers, and a Wraithwatch Reaver, as well as discovered glimpses of the occupation of For's Hollow via some interrogation and mind reading. You set 2 soldiers free, allowing them to sail eastward toward Belladonia, forsaking their previous loyalties. But then you kept one behind, possibly to execute this final loyalist. But first, before any executions or otherwise take place, you've all encamped for the night on the shoreline. And that is where we pick back up now, as you all bed down for the night on the Arborlot coast, on the night of Morndas, 11th of Evening Star. And so we pick back up there now, here in camp with some lake shore vibes. Night has approached. The sun has set. You're just north of Aenalad along the coast. The Alealor ruins aren't too far to the west of you, and Forest Hollow not too far further northwest from that. At this point, I'll go ahead and also drop in a soldier here. We'll say he's probably gagged and bound to some degree.
We tied him to a tree, and so I probably would have directed him to be tied to a tree, like away from camp, so that we could talk without like him hearing us.
Away from camp, yeah. You got it. I'll stick him over here, just so he's
Jerry's
on the screen.
Jerry's gonna be like keeping an eye on him, maybe like out here.
Okay, perfect.
We have like any magic watchdog we could leave? Like, could Alfie just stare at him all night and drop something loud if he gets away? Starts getting away.
I can have him just sit on top of him. Alfie's pretty heavy. Probably won't be able to get him all.
Okay. You're welcome to have that done. Oh, also, yeah, Alfie's over there watching him too. Got it. Fenin and Yuri, your wood elven company, are certainly posted around a small campfire with you all as well. Very thankful for your work in escorting them here, but also, as discussed previously in the aftermath of the conflict, found no value or use for this place anymore. Way less was able to be salvaged than they thought might have been the case. And so far, no signs of allies or comrades of theirs that have escaped, and they're sort of just kind of a little to themselves right now. They're surrounded by you, but kind of keeping them to themselves. Fenin sort of sheltering Yuri in her arm. What are the rest of you doing?
Do they have antlers?
They do not have antlers. Not a feature of the wood elves, at least of Aenalad.
Well, tomorrow I suppose we'll escort them to the ruins. I'm worried about Rhea. I reached out to her a little while back, and it sounded like she and Jokel got in some trouble. I think we got some confirmation from interrogating the soldiers that they knew of a woman prisoner.
Toby, do you know how far away Forest Hollow is from here? Could we go there tomorrow?
I guess that depends on Chris, if we know how close the ruins would be, because we know the time from Forest Hollow to the ruins.
Well, and especially having traversed that journey between Forest Hollow and the ruins the first time took you about a full day. You would think with more experience in the Emerin and a known route for that, it would probably take you half the time, or a little more than half the time, maybe. But you think the ruins themselves? Go ahead and give me a general survival check. 16 is pretty good. Based on where you think you are at the coast of the Arbor Lock, they took canoes here, so you kind of just triangulate roughly where along the coast you think you are, and referencing where you think Ayenalad was marked on the map. You think the ruins are probably 2-3 hours west of you.
Oh, wow.
And then another several hours northwest of you all to get to Forest Hollow, but that could certainly all be traversed in a successful heavy day of travel.
Well, I think we could get to Forest Hollow tomorrow, technically, but I think we definitely want to stop at the ruins. I want to see how the people there are doing.
I estimate we'll probably need to catch up with them for a few hours and make a plan before anything else.
Yeah. I want to see if Ira knows what Rhea and Jokel were trying to do. And also, if we potentially stop there for the night, I'd be able to look in on them, potentially. Not just send them a message.
Well, also, last time you sent a message to Rhea, did she answer? Or have you tried sending her a message?
I haven't, and can I? I could send a message tonight. It sounded like something went wrong in the middle of her responding to me last time. She was speaking in a whispered tone, and then she said, "Oh, shit, Jokel," and like got distracted by something. So I'm worried that was Durast related.
I was just thinking about that time I tried to have you send a message to my sister, and either you didn't know her and then it didn't work for that reason, or because she was behind the protection of a mythal, which, if all is well, Rhea would be behind the protection of a mythal. Which means she probably wasn't last time. Yeah.
That was interesting. And also good to know, if we're ever worried about that, if we could retreat to one of a few locations now we know that have that barrier.
I want to take out from my pocket 2 of the little rings that I pull off my antlers every other morning with you all, and I want to levitate them over toward Yuri. And I want to say, all right, Yuri, if you're going to sleep with us tonight, I want you to know about this game that you're not allowed to play, that the others invented, and it drives me nuts. And you don't want to play this game. It's where you take those. Yuri, how do you do it? I never actually learned your rules.
While you were distracted, Yuri was demonstrating it behind your back by taking a loop and trying to get it on your head.
Yes, Yuri, don't do that, because if I get any on my head in the morning, I'm going to blame you.
Well, let me see if I actually made it on your antler.
It wasn't
sleight of hand. What do we roll for this?
Yeah, go ahead and make a sleight of hand check. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that was I'm pretty good at this game. Been practicing it a lot. You see, the whole goal, get it on his antler, and then we all laugh at him.
Don't laugh, Yuri. What are these made of? I actually don't know.
Rope. And this one is made out of your hair, Telperion, but I saved this one.
I gave you my hair for that? I don't remember.
Oh yeah, you did. I can't remember why. I was probably mad at you for some reason, and then you tried to make it up to me by giving me your hair. And then in the end, I wasn't actually mad at you. I tricked you into giving me your hair.
You're very good at being tricky. Don't trust him.
Can I try?
Well, if I understand the game correctly, the whole point is to try when I'm not paying attention. It's the most important part.
Like a secret.
Exactly.
Okay.
Because if I see it, I'll swat it away.
Got it. Benin just kind of looks down at him, gives a corner of her mouth, smiles a tiny bit. Jiri and Alfie, make a perception check for me.
Dang. Distracted, playing games.
Mm-hmm.
His passive is 18, if you need to know that. What is...
That's pretty high. Damn.
Perception is what? Wisdom. And his wisdom is 0. Fucking D20s. That makes it easier.
Super success with the active and the passive. How does he have a passive of 18 if he has a wisdom of 0? Does he have like...
I have no... Hold on. I want to make sure I have that right.
I wonder if it's just the creature has this passive.
No, it may be well the case, but...
It's 10 plus twice my proficiency bonus.
Wow. So it's like expertise in your proficiency. So it's just like a function of the creatures. He's a very alert individual.
Very perceptive.
So with his passive and active, Jiri is getting a little distracted in the games, and you immediately, Roulette, hear the beeping alert of Alfie as he notices the Durastian soldier with hands bound behind his back has found a bit of stone where he's trying to like rub his arms up and down to like saw off part of the rope.
Also, the perception check was technically a 27, but I will...
Wow.
Alfie will plop down on top of him and just start making some sort of clicking, clanging noises to alert either Jiri and or Roulette around there that he's actively trying to do something. So.
I'm on it, guys. Don't worry.
Shit, I wasn't going anywhere. Stupid hunk of metal. Tries to shift and push Alfie off him to no effect.
All right, we need more rope, guys.
I'll give my rope to Jiri.
Thanks. Hey, Roulette, maybe you should tie this.
Yeah, let me see what I can do. And I will try to craft some heavier bonds and use some scrap metal or some shit to make fake handcuffs.
Sure, go ahead and give me a general tinkering check. I think that's generally intelligence plus your proficiency, maybe expertise. I don't quite remember.
I don't know what it...
Might be equivalent to your sleight of hand, but intelligence based.
I think it's... Yeah, I think it's always just been sleight of hand. But that's Dex. I don't know. I'm just going to make a sleight of hand check.
Yeah, that works for quickly crafting something. We're still going to say it's based off your intelligence, which will get it to a 10. So you add additional restraints to him. Not sure how airtight that is, but he seems pretty heavily bound and just keeps writhing around and resisting. And at least give me an honorable soldier's death. Just execute me if that's what you plan to do.
We're talking about it. You hush up. We'll let you know our decision later.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'm gonna sit with him, guys. You go back to talking.
Fenin will think to you, Telperion, and then therefore to everyone sitting around the campfire. What do you think the likelihood is that there is anything for us at these ruins you've mentioned? Could we find shelter there? The community, would they be accepting of outsiders?
It is specifically a community of refugees. Their home was attacked. I'm from there. This is actually where we all met. And we had some insight. These people, the Durastians, it's that nation up to the north. In case you didn't know, I'd assume you might, but they've invaded Croatia, and we knew about that. We were very fortunate, and we were able to evacuate our town. And so there's people there who don't understand the loss you've experienced, but know the hardship of looking for a new place. And so the only goal there is to give you a safe place, people to interact with, and from there you can decide what you and Yuri want to do next.
I suppose our shelter and seclusion has led the way for blissful ignorance. We did not know the northern nations were engaged in war. What is there to prevent them from burning down these ruins just as they did to our home?
It makes you feel better, Finn, and my people were much the same, and I've only recently been able to get them to care about the outside nations. I think elves are a bit exclusionary. The magic that protects the ruins is called a mythal, and elves may pass freely through it, of which there are a few among the refugees of Falls Hollow. So when Duras started to attack, we had the town relocate into the ruins, and we're hoping that Duras, who rather prefer humans and mainly stick with that, won't have found entry yet into the ruins. No, maybe don't even know it's there.
She just reservedly nods her head following along, encouraged to a degree, but still nervous.
It's just some measure of stability. We're trying to kind of stop this war. You know, we're working with the elves who you stumbled into one of their villages, and we've been in contact with the Chimerans to the south, and I want you to know we're working hard to not let them keep doing things like they did to your village. It's gonna keep happening, and we're trying to make sure people realize that and stop this as soon as we can. If that's
Do
of
you
any
all-
comfort.
You of the Ithilwinge, the rest of you are from For's Hollow. Are you all from Creatia? What stakes do you have in this war? Why not flee into the woods and live out your days?
Well, Jiri over there is not from Eridon, actually, if that means anything to you. He is a foreigner and has become a very close friend through shared experience. And I think it seems like this path to helping may get him back to where he belongs.
And you, Spirit?
I don't hail particularly from Creatia itself, but another time and plane. But I'm here to help to reestablish the balance of this land that is no longer in harmony. And sometimes you cannot just sit aside and watch while it crumbles.
And what of you, Tinkerer?
I think, like some of the other folks here, kind of just got dragged into this. Don't know that I have a specific reason for stopping this war, apart from the fact that Duras seems to be attacking civilians. We found a pretty good home there in Forest Hollow, and that was one of the first places they stepped in to try and just I don't know, take over. So I think it's not a matter of fighting a war; it's to defending ourselves and fighting back.
It sounds like some of you have altruistic or ulterior goals, but perhaps those of us that have been dragged into this conflict can find the fire to fight as well. And you see her for the first time. Well, you've seen it once when she executed one of the soldiers that had been captured. Just a rage in her eyes. And might even be an inkling of suspicion that she might be interested in whatever it may mean, lending her own aid to this effort. But also, she has a child to care for now. But anyway, we are thankful for your company and alliance. We're interested
More than
to
just
see what these ruins have to offer.
more than just shelter in a community. I think you'll also find people of talent and resolve in the Falls Hollow community who have also lost much their home to Durast. So you may find quite a few with fire inside them as well. And a purpose.
Nods along. Jiri, while this conversation's happening at the campfire, what are you doing right now over with the soldier? Are you just killing time, just watching him? Or are you antagonizing him with minor conversation?
Yeah, so Jiri's gonna try a tactic with him. He's gonna come over and just like see if he can get this guy like talking to him in any way. Like he's gonna like mention like, hey, I used to live in Daenor. I was there for a while, part of a trooper group. Haven't been there a long time. This was, wait a minute, was it before or after I was imprisoned in my glass bottle for 7 years? I can't remember. Time's weird for me. It was either before or after, but I was there, so it could have been.
And now you turn against your own turncoat.
Well, I mean, I'm not originally from there, dude. Look at me. I'm from Jawland.
Yes. Can't say I've seen your kind in our nation.
Anyways, my dude, see that big tall elf over there with the horns?
Hi.
Yeah, he's gonna kill you tomorrow morning. Yeah, it's gonna happen. I'm trying to convince him not to, but he really wants to kill you. So this might be the last chance to ever tell your tale, your story. You see, I'm somewhat of a storyteller. I love stories. So maybe this is the perfect opportunity, the last chance you'll ever have to get your story written down. So you should tell me all about yourself. Where you come from, what you do as a kid, who are your parents, why you fighting for Durast, all that stuff.
Go ahead and make an insight check real quick.
Thanks.
You see with your just basic visual information gathering, he just looks between you and Telperion for just a moment, but you're not sure what he's thinking necessarily, but he'll respond. Now go ahead and make a persuasion check with disadvantage.
Doesn't matter.
If my end is tomorrow, then so be it. But there are those like me who see no ill in our king's command. We are a proud nation. Humankind is the only race that has been forced to survive in this hellish world with no ancestral magical benefit. We have survived due to our own cunning, our cleverness. No race is more resilient and adaptable than humans. And it's time we spread into the extent of all the world.
Aren't there humans like everywhere already?
Enough. Too many blue folk roaming around, acting like they're better than thou.
Well, I mean, you're tied up and I'm not, so I feel like I'm in a better position than you are right now. But I don't know. Have you seen
No
a lot
doubt
of blue
because of
folk?
your magical ancestry. Some of us aren't so privileged.
Okay, maybe. But like, have you seen a lot of blue folk around then?
Not until you.
Okay, so there's not a lot of us running around. I guess I'm pretty unique then. Makes me pretty
Figure of
special.
Speech, gods above.
Anyways, let's get back to better terms. Tell me your story, dude. What were you like as a kid? Come on. Tell me about your parents. What's your hometown like? Give me all the details, man. How am I supposed to write a story about you if you don't give me the deets?
You have already loosened my tongue more than it is deserving. I have made my peace with my death, and I await it eagerly.
Well, at least give me the opportunity to write like a letter home to your family. They're gonna want to know. I'll put in all this like mumbo jumbo about how amazing humans are. I'll add all that in there for you.
My family will never be known to you, cur.
All right, fine. Give me some of your hair then. I'm gonna make a loop out of it. I'm gonna rip some hair out of his head.
What? Don't touch me! He's not in a position to actually resist you, so you're able to pull some of his hair. Ah!
Okay.
Man, I can't believe you're gonna die without telling your story. That's so sad. I'm gonna make one up about you. I'm gonna say that you were a little baby and that you said humans sucked and that Durez sucked and that your king was awful. And I'm gonna send that letter to your parents. I'm gonna find them. Trust me.
My story is that of all of Durast, and history will remember it forever.
Nah, they're gonna remember you as a coward. Sorry, buddy.
I am but a
Experience
cog in
nicer
the
to this
wheel.
dude.
What was that?
I am but a cog in the wheel. If I have lent aid to my cause, then I am happy with that.
All right, I'm gonna sit down and start writing. This is your last chance. Just interrupt me at any point if you're gonna give me some details. And Jiri will just sit down and, well, he'll have to go to Rome or Roulette. Roulette, can I get some paper?
Sure. And I'll grab some scrap paper out of my notebook and hand it off to Jerry.
I'm gonna make a play about this guy being a pansy and being like a scaredy cat.
Bit of a tragedy, wouldn't it be?
Yeah, and then I'm gonna send it to his family.
Oh. Pretty embarrassing.
I know. He won't tell me his actual story, so now I'm gonna embarrass him. See ya.
Well, as you begin to do that, and the rest of you continue your campfire, nighttime before bed discussions, is there anything else anyone wants to do before you guys bed down for the night?
After at least Yuri goes to bed, and maybe Fennin too, because I think her opinion is pretty clear to us. I'd like to sit down with the group of us five and Jiri, I think Telperion made his opinion clear about this soldier. I don't know that Roulette or Rome have weighed in as determinedly, but I don't want you to think that we're trying to override you or this is a serious matter. Talking about an execution, taking a life, and I'd love to hear from you, Telperion. I'll explain myself, but Roulette and Rome, any of you, how you feel about this matter when it comes to taking a life in general. as we've been forced to do.
I agree. We should all come to a group decision because I think we should all be on the same page. Because I bet you if we're fighting Duras, we can't like kill every single Durastian that we come across, right?
There's some
Like
truth to
eventually
that.
we're gonna have to spare some of them. But how are we gonna go about doing it?
And
Right?
but at the same time, we don't all have to have the same opinion. I think we can work together and figure out a way to operate. But yes, I agree. You know, my family lives in Durast. They live in Cliffshade, and the longer this war goes on, the more bad things Durast does. I imagine the harsher the retaliation against them. And I would like to stop this war before that potential retaliation would reach my family. And so the urgency that drives me to kill, to snuff out these lives, is because I believe that it will prevent further death. Unwanted death. Death to be arrived at the appropriate time. And I think this soldier contributed to an atrocity. And with his continued resolve on that matter, I feel an appropriate judgment is for the loss of his life. I've given those other two soldiers a chance at redemption, and I'll be able to let you guys know tomorrow morning if they have stayed on that course. And if they do not, I intend to deliver judgment to them as well.
Yeah, but here's my thing, Toby. Just to add on to what you were saying, there's got to be some way to like make them no longer evil, right? Like people aren't always just evil. Remember you told me that about wolves? Sometimes they're like in between. Shouldn't we be able to like make people not evil anymore?
But you have to be careful to not rid them of their own decisions. And if people choose to make evil decisions, they have the right to make their own decisions, in my opinion, while still being subject to the consequence of those bad decisions. So I hope to spare. I hope to capture every Duras soldier we face and give them a chance at redemption. But I also have no intention of forcing that upon them. That's my opinion on the matter, and I don't think it's the right one or the only one, and I don't want to make you think that I don't hear you, and you're an important part of this group, as I think I am, and so I don't want to override you or say you're wrong.
Toby, I think we're pretty much on the same page. We're pretty close. It's just, I really think there's got to be something we can do to make people not evil.
Jerry, I don't think you can just change a person. I think that if any change occurs, they have to want it to occur, and it takes a lot of time. I mean, you've changed me since I've been with you, but that's taken a lot of time, and also we're more aligned than he and us are. If you look at Yuri over there. That man could have killed his parents. He certainly left this village as nothing more than tar and ash. We don't have the time to help him see how that was wrong if he can't change that. And our killing him is not the same as him killing them. Our killing him will prevent him from... Look, we let those other two go on their word that they weren't going to go back to Durast. But we can't just flip a switch in his brain and make him be everything that he's not.
But maybe we could flip a switch in his brain, right?
I invade minds all the time, and even I can tell you that would be wrong. Just as Toby was saying.
Yeah, but like he's brainwashed. I just talked to him. He thinks he's like a good guy. He doesn't realize he's evil. So like, how do you make somebody realize they're evil?
Well, I think one is showing that other people don't agree. And what we're hoping to achieve with the elves, the chimerans, this gathering, if we unite against Durast, certainly the strongest of devoted people in Durast aren't going to be swayed by that, but some of the soldiers, and I'm perhaps naively thinking it's a significant amount, will realize the whole world is against us. Maybe tonight I'll think about why. If that gives you any sort of different way of thinking about it.
I don't know, guys. I guess I'm still confused on this.
That's okay.
I think what I'm hearing, Jerry, is that that man's life is less of a concern for you as can you, Jerry, make someone be good or realize that they've been evil? That's the real question that's bothering you?
Exactly, Telpiran. You're absolutely right. Because, like, I've been thinking about it. You know my brother, Jadrakar?
Who we think is also Rome's brother?
Yes. Our brother. I should have said our brother. Sorry, Rome. He's evil, right? But we don't want to kill him. He's my brother, you know what I mean? We gotta make him good again. So, like, this could be like the practice.
But you know your brother, and you could read him better than this soldier here. You would, I think, to transform someone, whether they're open to it or not, is vital first to start with. And then your relationship and the amount you're willing to give. Are we willing to let Fennin and Yori just fend for themselves and give that man all of our time? No, but you might be willing to do that when we meet your brother.
I've got a lot to think about.
Jerry, I mean, I want you to remember when I didn't kill that elf back, the one who had betrayed my people. I understand what you're saying. And I do think people can earn second chances and deserve mercy, but that's a case-by-case thing. We're not gods, but we are capable and are entering a conflict. So I think you're right. We should know as a group our mentality here, but I think that there is just a world of brother between Erlethel Myerlight's son, your brother, that soldier over there who thinks his people are superior to all others.
Yeah, but there's different levels of evil, right? This guy's just like a little baby evil. Like I don't know, like a small piece of evil. Jadrakar is pretty big. He's very evil. I wonder if it's going to be even harder the more evil you are.
Despite everything about you, Jiri, I think you're very good at appealing to people's better natures. So I think you have some hope.
Okay, I'm convinced. I'm going to give it a try. If I can make this guy good by tomorrow morning, we'll spare him. But if I can't, Telpiran, you're going to have to kill him. I can't do it.
That's fine. Well, also, I'm going to threaten him, and I want to try to probably read his mind. I don't know. They're so useless. These ones don't know anything, so maybe I won't waste my power on him. But I will, if you won't, give him the chance to fight me for his... He keeps asking for an honorable soldier's death, so we know how it will end, but he can try to fight me to survive and just kill him in combat, so it's not like a cold execution in the morning.
Whatever you think is best.
This matters to you more than me, so it's what you think is best, really.
No, I care more about the like making him not evil part. The like killing him part. I care less about that.
You'll need your strength tomorrow, so give him some time, but rest as well.
All right, I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna try again and see if I can break him.
Don't touch him too much.
It's
the difference
the
between
word break him is very funny after that conversation.
He well may think I'm the more merciful of us two by the morning.
Maybe. We'll see. I don't need to RP it, but Jiro will go back and just keep poking at this guy.
Yeah. Probably
Using-
give him a small kick to wake him up in the first place, because as you guys were discussing, he's heavily restrained. Fen and Yuri are asleep. Like, it has been into nighttime at this point, so you just wake him up just to keep it, antagonizing him with your company.
Yes.
Perfect. Still trying to soften him up, but he refuses to give his story or really give you any of his true attention or time. But with that, unless there's anything else, we can begin our long rest. Is anyone taking a first shift of watch?
I can take a first shift.
Okay. Go ahead and make a perception check. Okay. You occasionally hear small snaps of twigs, sounds of the woods, but as you just kind of give your attention to various signs, you notice that nothing is of threat, and that period of 2 hours certainly goes by relatively simply.
Could I do one thing?
Absolutely.
I wanted to ritually cast Commune with Nature in the water, and reach at, or meditate on the idea or discovering whether or not there's an ancient civilization, like ruined civilization under the water, like an Atlantis kind of location.
Gotcha.
Does that exist? That's the sort of question I'm putting out into the universe.
Okay.
In this particular
So-
body of water.
Yeah, so a couple things. Two things that are important here are you definitely get to obtain via this process 3 facts about the landscape you're trying to divert your attention toward, but it is restrained to a 3-mile radius. The lake is far, far, far wider than a 3-mile distance. So you can get a sense of what is within out 3 miles from you, but you know that is not covering a large percentage of this lake.
Okay. Well, I mean, so yes, within a 3-mile radius of where I am on the beach, do I get any evidence of there being an ancient civilization?
What a specific question. Why not just like what's there?
I want to know. I mean, I have like historical knowledge, don't I not? I'm trying
Is
to
there Atlantis?
this land.
You
Are there any
definitely-
artifacts?
Yeah, you conclusively determine that nothing of legendary or ancient relic exists within the sub-depth dunes of the bottom of that lake.
No Jason Momoa.
Within your radius.
Within your radius.
Are there any other 2 questions you're interested about gathering information from this landscape?
Are there hold on a second, I had another question. Are there any like powerful celestial or elemental, like any powerful creatures that emanate from this water? Within my 3-mile radius.
Give me a nature check. Not survival, this is nature.
Oh baby.
You ask that question of your environment, trying to tap into the sort of older than time roots of a world. trying to touch its history, you ask that question of this landscape. And although you get the sense that no, within this radius, there's nothing like that that matches your description, these waters feel like they've been touched by something celestial and or primordial. So not that you're gaining any knowledge of beings or entities that exist, but you think within this lake there is meaning. There is a sense, a taste almost to your mind of these waters, that they are forever altered because of some connection to the question you asked.
Okay, is that signature that I'm reading similar to the signature in which like I might leave behind? Because you're saying like touched.
Give me this. I'm gonna say diving into the specifics of this will be the third piece of information you get to specify and try and hone in on this. I'm gonna want one more nature check.
No!
Unfortunately, you don't get a confidence about the nature of how it's different, but you determine distinctly that there's something to the waters of the Arbor Loch.
Okay.
That's fucking awesome.
I was really hoping that there would be an underwater city.
There still could be. You
There
just have
still could
to
be,
go
yeah.
further, or that's the idea that there could be a yes just opened my mind.
Okay, I walk away from the beach and wake up whoever is next for their watch.
I'll do the last shift.
Okay, you'll do the last shift, so you're still currently continuing to trance. Is there anything specific you're guiding your trance to over your first 4 hours of trance time?
Oh, excellent question. I actually know I had one. Thinking a lot about like childhood. Being around Yuri's been bothering me and making me like, I'm just thinking about growing up with my parents and just like going really far back in the memory banks on what it meant to have my parents around when I was really young. Thinking about Kinsalo, and then about Doran's loss, and just that the loss and the topics Jerry brought up also brings June Quill to mind, and like the whole idea of like forgiving someone for an atrocity to you.
Very well. You reflect on those items. Kobe Rama, in your sleep, give me a religion check.
I gotta start working towards getting proficient in that or something.
And praying while you're sleeping.
Just cool, comforting silver mists endlessly around you in your darkened consciousness. As usual. Anything from Jiri or Roulette? Recently, you guys have engaged in some nighttime activities.
Sure. Yes. I'll take the first hour to take like a short rest to get my spell slots back. Second hour to like, so that'll be like a first hour just like chatting this guy, and then I'll probably like fall asleep next to him. And during that like first hour before I start like an actual long rest for 6 hours, Jiri is going to cast the dream spell on this individual.
Soldier.
The soldier, yes, first. We'll go with the soldier first. And very simply just bringing him, just like exploring around and like seeing where his dreams go, and just to see if I can like find any additional information out about him through his dreams. Like, I've been asking about his like family and his like childhood to see if I can find out anything. And then if I can find out anything, I've got like a second part of this dream.
Okay. As you fall asleep, half consciously, half unconsciously casting this spell. If anyone, Alfie may notice it, but it might not alarm Alfie. And I don't know if Alfie powers down. I forget if we've answered that
I
question.
don't know.
But a sort of almost mist like steam will emanate from Jiri slowly and just drift over and into eyes, nose, mouth, ears of this Drastian soldier. Jiri, your consciousness darkens, almost like you're falling asleep. And then you see out in this endless dark expanse, void of any other features, just a horizontal, floating Drastian soldier, this man. Based on this kind of periphery information, you get the sense that he is not actively dreaming. So far, you've entered the minds of people that had active dreams. He's currently not dreaming about anything, or at least vivid enough for him to recall in the morning. But you are still fully in control. You're even able to sort of approach him, sort of look down at him and walk around him, and you know you have full control of the environment and could even bring him into wakefulness in this moment with you if you wish. He just currently is resting deeply, no dreams.
All right. So since I can't get any intel from him, I'm going to warp the dream, and I'm gonna make it so that um. So I didn't get any information about this guy. Like I have no idea where he's from, nothing to go
You
on.
could conclude fairly reasonably he's from Durast, so you know what the landscape of Durast looks like. The
So
hillsides, the mountain peaks, etc.
I'm gonna put him in Durast, and I'm just gonna make it so that he very just like low consciousness, just him like in Duras, but I'm gonna make him small, like very tiny, so that he like feels like he's in the body of a child, like walking around the streets. I'm gonna populate it with soldiers and just random Durastians, all humans, right?
So
And
Daenor specifically.
Daenor, yep, sorry, Daenor in the streets of Daenor, we'll say, and then like as this individual is just going through this dream, like living his life as as a small child, I'm going to switch the dream over to like the like nightmare version of the dream spell, with like just like the sense that like, oh, there's like an army attacks like the city, and like there's just chaos and confusion, and like a whole army of elves like enter in and just start killing everything around him, setting things on fire just to like terrorize him as much as possible.
Okay.
Is Jiri the
You,
villain?
you see him
Told you he's been
cowering
working.
in fear at his homeland, the source of his pride and his loyalty being sundered, burned, destroyed around him, his cause being futile. Are you saying anything to him while this is happening?
That's a good question. I'm gonna leave it more towards it to him to interpret this, because like as this going is going on, and as it's like at his lowest moment that he's in, like as like there's fires burning around him and bodies like piling up around him and blood and death, I'm gonna switch the location, changing it from Duras to like the town that we were just in, and instead it's like the roles switch kind of like instantly. It's the like, instead of the elves attacking, it's Durast attacking this village, but he's still this like a child in this town, and the bodies have switched. Instead of the dead of the Durastians, it's the dead of the villagers here.
All right, go ahead and make an insight check.
What is this town called?
Aenalad, or in common, it would be approximated to be Elder Vale.
I'm just not insightful at all.
He looks fearful, like he looks scared, like a child would at burning buildings. But there's a moment of recognition in this new, changed environment. You don't get much more than that at this point, unfortunately. But he continues to be fearful of the landscape and visuals you're creating and controlling. Are you intending within this nightmare mechanic to utilize its function? Because if that is the case, that's where I would want some version of a message to be placed.
Yeah, I guess the message would be kind of similar to what like this is what you've done, right? Like the same pain you feel you've inflicted on others, but like this isn't who you need to be. I guess like the final message would be like a message of hope that like you don't need to cause destruction. This isn't how it needs to be. And then I'll return Daynor back to like how it was, his hometown, his city, back to how it was originally. And that is the message I'll leave him with.
Okay. Then I'm going to take control for just a moment. You return Daynor to itself, and you see for a moment an ease come across this soldier's face. And they almost seem to age up a bit, removed from this childlike moment. And you feel a severe warmth, no heat, surround your form. And you look down, and you do not see your own arms, for they are encased in heavily obscuring black, Vanta black, reflectionless, writhing flame. And from your mouth, without your control, you speak to the soldier. Listen to our words, for if you forget them, we will make sure you feel our pain that storms within us like a terrible tempest. And with a crack of thunder, he will make a wisdom saving throw.
At disadvantage. Oh, man.
Disadvantage. That is true. That is true. Yeah. You see him like seeing a monster in a horror movie coming for him. He just screams with a primal mortal fear that he has not shown you in the waking world yet. Resolved to his fate, he is finally turned horrified in this moment. And you can go ahead and roll the damage for that.
Oh, yeah. Oh, what is the damage?
The irony kills him.
Is Jiri the villain?
I told you I was going to be more merciful to this dude.
Oh, it's just 3d6.
Still, you hear this scream, and you yourself, Jiri, are horrified at just the sound of this fear for a moment, as well as the voice that just emanated from you and caused this. And as the rest of the dream begins to condense into darkness, his scream just continues to echo out until you lose consciousness and slip into true sleep.
Pisces. Okay.
The spell concluding. Rome, you're welcome to wake the next person for their rest. It is not Telperion in this moment. It looks like Toby Rama maybe was volunteering. So if you would like to wake Toby Rama, he can be the next to rouse.
Yeah, we'll wake Toby up.
Perfect. All right, Toby, unless there's anything you would like to do on your shift, go ahead and just give me a perception roll. And Jiri, you have begun your long rest.
Yes, nothing out of the ordinary. I will just keep watch. Yeah, nothing too out of the ordinary.
Okay. Some low flames flickering off of the ember coals of the fire pit. Just small, comforting warmth to this space that is rather chilly off the coast of a lake in winter.
Perception. Oof, thank goodness.
Similarly to Rome, a couple noises and bumps in the night, but nothing that alarms you or alerts you to threat of danger. Otherwise, your shift will come to a close unless there's anything you would like to do on it.
No. I will wait for morning for a couple things.
All right, you would suspect, I don't know who you would want to wake next, but you would know that Telperion, his trance is almost concluded, so it could be him or anyone else, but you wouldn't be interrupting his thing.
But yeah, I guess anytime where Telperion doesn't go first, we kind of like wait for him to kind of stand up and become aware.
I'm starting to wake up. All right,
nothing out of the ordinary.
Sleep well, Toby. And then I'm going to spend my time looking at the spell book that I'm trying to interpret.
Okay.
How do you add numbers to letters? I don't understand. And why does magic require so many lines?
Perfect. Still trying to school yourself based on Minerva's notes.
Her margins are so infuriating. She thinks I'm so stupid.
Perfect. Give me a perception check for your watch.
15.
15. Similarly, there don't seem to be many threats in this vicinity, perhaps because of the acrid smelling fumes that you guys are away from, but kind of permeate the forest near Aenalad, probably keeping most things at bay. You do, with a 15, notice that Yuri seems to be having a rather restless night of sleep. He's asleep, but constantly tossing and turning.
I want to experiment, and I'm going to think about like one of the elf tales my mother would tell me when I was really little, and I'm going to use telepathy and just whisper in his mind the adventure of little elf boy that's like famous for being a little trickster in moon elf culture.
Okay. Very cool. Sort of softly using telepathy to guide his, almost like, just giving him positive, comforting stimuli to hopefully maybe affect his dreams. Go ahead and give me an intelligence check.
13.
13. Okay. You whisper sort of positive, encouraging, comforting tales into his mind. And after an hour, he does settle a bit. Not sure if it was from you or just naturally falling into a deeper sleep, but otherwise, the rest of your watch will come to a conclusion. 8 full hours will be able to go by. And you are all able to wake in the morning on this beach.
I know we didn't have an opportunity to delve into Roulette's dreams, but I will kind of just say that, like, to remind where we left off, Roulette was like just falling through like this storm. So maybe that's kind of what Roulette still dreams of, is just like tumbling, falling through empty space, it feels like, with like a storm whipping around her.
I might like to give Roulette real quick a wisdom saving throw. And you'll do this with advantage, but I kind of want to give her a chance at how deeply did Jiri's previous night of dream walking affect her next day's dream? Because it's not guaranteed that that would be her dream. She might resist it. Roulette, if that is what you're dreaming of, you're welcome to say that. But if you are falling asleep with hopefully positive thoughts, you can certainly try and steer your mind toward better dreams.
15.
I don't think that meets Jiri's DC. So I'll say that at some point, whatever you're dreaming about does creep in as a falling feeling in that storm. Maybe your dream even morphs into that moment.
I'm imagining that I am just like in a whirlwind of millions of copies of my notebooks as I'm trying to study, but I can't grab them, and finding myself in that storm that I saw, the lightning spreading and all that shit.
Well, when you wake, Jiri, the soldier, certainly is fully bound and gagged still at this point. Yeah, you guys are welcome to wake on the morning of Turdas, the 12th of Evening Star. Or this is Tyrdas, Tyr Das, Tuesday.
As part of Toby's morning prayer, I'll spend an extra 10 minutes to cast Commune ritually.
Okay, beginning your morning with a Commune. Let's go ahead and jump into this. Pause for just a moment. I like to throw him on the screen anytime you do this. As you commune, you cause invisible to anyone else, cool silver mists form out of your periphery, and the sky, even though it's morning, darkens, and you see once more the Deva of Kelemvor sort of apparate from mist.
I dispensed judgment yesterday. And judgment is weak without the necessary enforcement. The path I set the two individuals on towards reformation, did they keep to their course throughout the night?
Did they keep their course? As in asking about the soldiers
on the rowboat,
mental...
did they keep sending the physical action, right?
Got it. The Deva just kind of guides his billowing ivory-colored cloak to the side, and from his sleeves, mist forms apparate, and you see the rippling effect of water and a boat and two individuals continuing to sail.
In the east direction?
Yeah.
Okay. That was the main one I wanted to ask. I don't think I have other questions, so I think I will let the spell end, because that was my primary concern.
Okay. As you allow the spell to be released, the form just evaporates slowly, and the sky in the background brightens once more into your normal daytime present.
And if, I'll relay to the group that those two haven't turned tail and through the night sailed towards Forest Hollow. They seem to be keeping on towards leaving their previous choices behind.
All right, so we should get to it. We need to get to the Alelo ruins. We have to deal with the soldier first. Jerry, shall we? Or
All right, wakey, wakey, soldier.
Oh my god. Was I hit by a mammoth? You see the soldier wakes Jiri, and heavy bags are under his eyes. He looks like he didn't sleep for a moment last night, benefiting not whatsoever from a rest.
Seeing that the conversation is starting, I'm just gonna take little guy. You feel like going for a quick ride? And I will summon the aspect of Aquilari onto the beach. You don't need to pull it up, but I will just I will basically take him for a horseback ride and start walking westwardly down the beach with him and have him on Aquilari's back.
Perfect. You and Yuri are able to go for a little fun ride on the back of the aspect of Aquilari. And as you do, occasionally you guide yourselves down toward where the coastline meets the edge of the water, and just trotting across the top of the waves, unencumbered by the difficult terrain, Aquilari continues to just walk along the surface. All right, Telperion and Jiri, are we unrestraining the soldier and bringing him to Telperion?
Yeah, I will untie him from the tree, but I'll leave his hands tied behind his back, or however Roulette did the handcuffs.
Certainly welcome to.
All right, dude, time to get up. Are you still evil?
Simple-minded fool.
Oh, I guess he is, Telperion. Guess this dude's ready to die. Doesn't like his life anymore. Doesn't want to keep living. Last chance, man. You want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
I would appreciate a clean swing.
Another option. The big elf there said he'd fight you first. Give you a chance to win, to survive.
So now you toy with me.
well, you said you wanted a soldier's death, so you could fight me for it if you wish. Or I can do a simple swing. This is your choice. No toying involved.
Go ahead and make an insight check.
I think it called 14. Yeah, 14.
He seems very dejected, hopeless, despairing. Like he's holding to his resolve, but he just looks up at you and the rest of your party and says, I'm sure I could not take you down, nor your friends that surround you. I'm proud of the life of a soldier I have lived. I do not need to fight.
Ooh, Telperion, I don't know. He's kind of breaking. Doesn't it seem like it? He could be good at any minute now.
It's that he was proud of what he did, Jerry.
Dang. Man, I had such faith in you. Disappointing to your friends, disappointing to your enemies as well. Man, what a low, low life you've lived.
Jerry.
He looks back at you, and you just feel, Jiri, just a moment of heat. And the man just in true terror.
Yeah, I'm pretty scary. Even scarier than Telperion. See that, Telperion? I'm the scariest.
You were in my dream.
Who, me?
What are you talking about?
He's looking at Jiri. and just in true terror. Quick, let me be done with this mortal coil.
See, Talburn, I don't know if I want to kill him now. I feel like him living and kind of having to be around good people, it's probably a worse punishment than just dying.
All right. I cast detect thoughts.
Okay. Surface thoughts. He looks different, but it's him. I'm sure of it. He was there. What was that entity, that thing, that voice? And just fearful mutterings of a terrified man. Do you probe deeper?
Yeah, and I say in his head, I say, "Show me. Don't fight. Just show it to me."
You begin to feel resistance, but then you just see through his eyes, and you see the landscape of a foreign city that you've never seen, stone cobbled streets, high rising towers built into the side of very high mountainous cliff peaks, a very severe looking temple or keep structure in the distance, just Durastians everywhere walking about their business. But this soldier's gaze is focused on just a writhing black flame form of an individual, heavily obscured. You're not able to make out any features immediately. Just a humanoid size, maybe a little taller, 7 or 8 feet tall, writhing black shadow. Go ahead and make a perception check.
18.
18's pretty good. For just a moment in the otherwise daylight, as it hits this obscured form, you see what look like to be a series of 7 horns that rise directly off the top of this figure before they're immediately covered again in this roiling black writhing flame. And then your connection breaks and you just see this terrified man kneeling before you, looking at Jiri still.
All right, Jerry, go away for a second. I'm gonna do what we've been talking about. Go. Just don't let him. I don't want him to see you for this.
Wait, what did we talk about?
You hear in your head, "Can I please kill this man? You've tormented him quite a lot."
I was trying to make him better. I guess it didn't work. I need more practice. We're gonna have to capture more Durastians. Okay.
Yes. I'm gonna
Bye.
do it. So you go and let me do this.
Okay, bye.
Okay, Jiri, you're welcome to join the others at the campfire. Roulette and Yuri still out on Aquilari for a moment or two, maybe still within visual range of this happening, but Telperion, you have the soldier kneeling before you and just like sort of shuddering and just trying to steel himself.
All right, I kneel down. I whisper, "I will take on that monster, but think of home. Think of the Arknight. Think of what you've done for your people."
For Durast.
Well,
And he steels himself, clenches his jaw, and extends his neck.
And I chop off his head.
With a clean motion, the resolve of this Durastian stayed true to the end, and his head rolls free from his body.
And I pick up the body and telekinetically bring the head and just leave it in the bush. So Yuri won't come back to it. And then I'll rejoin the group. No, yeah, I kind of want to wait till Roulette gets back. And then once she's back, Yuri and Fennec are kind of chilling. I'll have a... Jerry, what did you do to that man?
I tried to make him better, but I think I made it worse. I don't know. I guess I'm not good at making people not evil.
How did you try?
Well, I tried to convince him to tell me his story.
And
You know what I mean? And then I was going to use his story against him psychologically.
how would you have done that?
I don't know. I tried to tell him that I was going to send a letter home to his family saying that he was a scaredy cat. But I don't even know who his family was. He didn't tell me.
And
How am I supposed to find them? What?
And after that didn't work, what did you do?
Well, then I told him about Jawland and where I was from and everything. And I think he fell asleep during that one.
Then what did you do after that? You did more than talk to him.
But yeah, then I went to bed.
And while you were sleeping?
I slept. I don't know.
I want to try something with the group, and I want to try to show them an image of what I just saw in that soldier's head.
One moment.
Jerry, I read that man's mind before we ended him, and there was something extremely disturbing in there, and he was terrified of you. I think
I'm
you did
quite
more
scary.
I think you did
What?
more than just talk to him. Whether or not you realize it.
Okay,
I know,
let's
Topiron.
begin.
I think you're having a hard time realizing that I'm scarier than you are.
I don't argue that claim. But this is what he saw, and I want to try something I haven't done before.
Oh,
Go
yeah,
ahead.
that's jaw
and
address.
Make an intelligence check. The DC for this is high. And something else is at play here too, but
16.
16. A side eye is expended, and you are unsuccessful pressing an image into your friend's mind.
You say unsuccessful?
Correct.
Oh.
Well, you didn't see that. It was a massive, writhing, fiery, dark thing. And DM, do I associate what I saw with elements that I've seen from Jiri?
Not really. I don't think you've seen him ever utilize black form. Mostly some of his abilities are steam or air based.
Okay.
However, Jiri does wield a unique weapon that is black and reflectionless. Something about that does feel somewhat reminiscent. Also, I think at least one of you, upon hearing word of a writhing black flame, at least one of you would probably recall some version of memory of that.
So I am,
From
yeah.
act on it or not act on it, but
I don't know if I'm one of those, but I'll describe for you all. Like it was a creature of black flame with a 7-tiered crown, and the reflection of it was absent, just like your sword, Jerry. So maybe you didn't do something. Maybe your sword did something. I don't know.
I don't know how my sword would do something. My sword only does stuff when I want it to do stuff, as in I move it.
At some point, you will hear hoofbeats and a sprinting Alfie next to a now doubled in size sprinting aspect of Aquilari as I cast enlarge on it so that it can carry me and Yuri.
holy shit.
So it's a giant Elicorn,
Jeez.
myself and Yuri sprinting alongside and outpacing Alfie coming down the beach.
Either way,
Coming back to the group.
let's get these people to safety and figure out what we're doing next.
Yeah, let's ignore what Telpiran was saying about my sword doing stuff. That's impossible. Inanimate objects don't do things like that, Telpiran. You're silly. Okay, moving on.
So, Perrin, did we take care of everything?
Almost, except Jerry's being frightening. Jerry, just remember, you can't coerce someone to change. So if that's what you tried last night, check that one off your list.
I'm gonna need a new strategy then. I don't know how we're gonna fix the Durastians.
One way, Jiri, and it might be something that it's a longer term project. You set them on the right path, and you do one of those things where you let them fix themselves. The two that Toby and I sent off. I think Toby sounds like you checked in this morning, and they're still heading that way. So
It's true.
it might just be some of them, but for hearts to change, you just kind of point them in the right direction. Give them a good nudge, and hope they make the right choices on their own. Some hearts you just might not be able to change.
Okay, Roulette. I like your idea. We'll try that.
Maybe on the next group, but so I think we're headed. Aquilari's back down to normal size. So we're headed west.
West. Probably get there probably around noon, potentially before then, and then introduce Fennin and Yuri. I want to check in with Ira, see if he knows about what Rhea and Jokel were up to, because I'm worried about them. But
It's a good idea.
and then we'll want to hear back about when loot preparations. It's still pretty recent, so we might still have some time before then. But
Okay.
On our way.
You guys are able to pack up your campfire, any supplies, bedrolls, etc., and begin to head west. Who is sort of spearheading the effort of traversing the forest back to where you think the Alealor ruins are roughly located?
I'm towards the back with Yuri, at least for whatever the remaining part of the hour I have with Aquilari.
I might ask Fennin to help me, as I think I have an idea of the direction, but she's more familiar with probably the actual terrain.
Perfect. So go ahead and roll a survival check with advantage. "24 is very good. You head back into forest terrain
Oh, and can we
and
do?
make your way westward. Yep,
I'm gonna do one thing before any arrival.
sure. Yeah, what are you guys
I
doing
wanna
along the way?
along the way, I wanna be hanging out with Yuri, and I wanna ask him if he ever heard the story of Echo, the little elf child, who was extremely mischievous and had the rare gift of Corellin to decide what gender they were, and would use this trick to get up to all kinds of mischief in Athenian, ancient Athenian, though. And I'm essentially kind of I want to see.
I don't think I've heard, but it sounds familiar.
And then I'll just tell him it again, and it's just repeating the stories I was telling him last night.
Yep. I did make a roll and seemed to recall something. Whether he had heard it before or recently. Who knows? But you kind of walk toward the back alongside Roulette and Yuri riding up upon the aspect of Aquilari. And Fennin and Toby Rama sort of lead the way in a tracking sense. And is there anything Jiri or Rome want to do on this journey? Otherwise, we will arrive where we arrive.
I'm gonna be a little bit ahead of the groups, like stealthing to look out for
Okay.
anything I might run into.
Okay, go ahead and make a perception roll. Okay. You let your passive sort of guide natural peripheral understanding, and you keep a careful eye out for any specific threats. You don't necessarily see any, but at some point you do see something that causes you to sort of stop a bit in your tracks. And when Fennin and Toby Rama catch up right next to you in their tracking efforts, they come to the same conclusion that the ground here seems to be a little bit more worn out ahead of you. And Toby Rama, with Fennin's aid, you're able to see off to the side, hanging from a tree limb, is just a very simple hanging copper object.
I guess I want to see if I can have a use of thaumaturgy, kind of just shake it, just gently disturb
Absolutely. You sort of just put out your divine consciousness to that space and just like cause almost a small localized concussion of movement, and you do see it. There's a copper bell of some kind, and it has just rung out into this space.
Did you just alert someone, Toby?
I don't know who that would alert. Why would there be a bell up high like that? How do you reach it?
Oh.
Yeah, suspended from a tree limb, maybe 8 feet hanging in the air, so not wildly high, but still high-ish.
Oh, I can get it very easily.
I don't know if it's intended to be like tripped or accidentally hit to warn people. But let's keep an eye out, certainly.
Jiri will levitate up to it and grab it, and then levitate back down. Or at least
you levitate and
try to
grab it.
grab
It's affixed to a rope, so you may have to like untie it and free it. But you're certainly with levitate, you're able to get up there if you want to untie it.
Sword out, chopping the rope.
Okay.
Look out below.
Cut the rope. The copper bell falls to the ground. It's more of a cowbell than a true bell. It's not well polished. It's a simple crafted metal thing with a suspended bob in it.
Are we approaching the ruins at this point?
You think you're probably near that area. You haven't seen the ruins yet. However, well, Toby, Rama, Rome, and Alfie sort of, you guys' attention is sort of diverted in a direction as you hear rustling in the distance. And then, well, I'll be. No, it can't be.
Oh my God!
And you see peeking out from a leaf or a small low limb behind a tree is Rebecca. Your wood elven companion from the Nora mercenaries in Forest Hollow. And she's like, I thought I heard someone ring us. I'm surprised from this direction. How the hell are you? And runs up to you guys and sort of gives Toby a hug first toward the front and sort of a wary, oh, you're from Aena, lad? She says to Fennin. We've a couple more of you. Come this way, all of you. I don't think I've met you either, Spirit. And kind of regards Rome.
This is Rome, new friend of ours. Treat her like you treat any of us four as you've known us. One of the many friends we've made since we last left you guys.
Well, very well. If you're friends of these lot, then you're my friend as well. And you see Rebecca, this wood elf individual, a different sort of complexion and hairstyle and sort of outfit attire from the other two wood elves, Fennin and Yuri, you're currently with. She has a lighter olive complexion opposed to Fennin and Yuri's darker complexion. And she has sort of an auburn reddish hair pulled into a braided ponytail. Has a short bow slung around her back and is about a foot shorter than you, Rome. Is a wood elf woman, Rebecca. Seemingly, based on her just general appearance in this landscape, a somewhat well-versed tracker and survivalist. But greets you, Rome, as well as Fennin and Yuri. And Fennin looks immediately to Yuri. And Yuri, whether he was engaged in conversation with Roulette on Aquilari, well, Aquilari probably would have been dismissed by this point, but still near Roulette, may not have quite heard, and Fennin can't quite describe what she had just heard, but with an excitement, she rushes over to grab Yuri's hand and then urges for them to follow this new wood elven figure. Apologies, Telperion. I'm sure you could have found the ruins anyway. We just set up a series of bells so that when Rhea and Jokel and other Noras go on various tracking duties, I'm sort of stuck here at the ruins so that I can go fetch people and bring them into the Mythal. It's sort of a simple system we have, but it's worked so far. Please, you've got to come and see what we've done to the place. And for the first time in a long time,
Jerry, let's put that back real quick.
Oh yeah, yours. This one fell out of the tree. It looked damaged, so we were gonna put it back.
So look how clean
You're
that
welcome.
cut is on the rope. It's just like such a clean cut.
Well, the sword did it on its own. I mean, I guess it can just do stuff these days. So wasn't me.
not to worry at all, Jerry. We'll put it back up. Simple rope. And for the first time in quite a while, we'll move you guys to this screen.
Wow.
You guys will approach, and Rebecca's sort of leading the way, and you see another familiar face of a Nora mercenary out front, an individual you had healed once carefully, Tobirama Kellen. Just a human man. Holy shit, you've got to be kidding me. And we'll greet all of you guys as you arrive. How the hell did you find yourselves? We haven't gotten there yet, Kellen. Let me ask first. I saw him. Yeah, what brings you to the ruins again? We've taken it to calling it Brave's Respite, by the way. Figured the place should have a name for our new temporary or longer than temporary home. But yeah, you'll find most of the people are doing pretty well here. We've also been cleaning up the place. It's been sort of a nice rejuvenation effort for the people to put their attention to. But how the hell are you all approaching from the east?
We have been all over the place.
Maybe also we could wait until we meet the other survivors.
Yes. I don't want to stall. These two have been through a lot. And
Yes, of course. What are your names? Fennin just makes a motion with her throat and then just like puts her hand on her chest and looks to Telperion.
Well, sure. This is Fennin and Yori, and unfortunately in the attack, Fennin lost use of her voice, so I've been relaying what she'd like to say.
Fennin, Yuri? Well, you're in good company. I think we have 3 other individuals that have made their way to us. I think they go by Daxius, Ritana, and Orizan. And Fennin perks up at hearing those names, definite recognition and eagerness. And as you guys push in through the front of the Alealor ruins, you pass by 2 individuals on either side of the interior. A Minotaur man, who you know to be Bullwinkle, the owner of Bullwinkle's Pub, as well as Crumblebach, the small goblin man who is the bartender of the Bowl. And they, with some startled eagerness, greet you all as you come in. Didn't know these all were coming in today. Yeah, no, it's a surprise for all of us. Here, this way. And Kellen will, once he has kind of let you in, will take post back outside. But Rebecca will lead you into this room. And you see that some of the reflecting pools that you guys had seen previously in this space have been filled with water. And as soon as you guys get in here, Fennin holding Yuri's hand, just rushes forward and greets some of the other members. They exchange very excited and emotional greetings. You do, however, get the sense rather quickly that these are not parents of Yuri. They're not blood relatives, but very clearly identifiable Ayenalad survivors. So not their entire village had been wiped out, and who knows if others exist in the forest surrounding. But certainly a very uplifting moment as Fennin and Yuri get to have some exchange with some of their kin, their village folk. You notice that all three of them are only partially clothed and are seeping in water in this basin. And the water has a sort of glimmer to it. Rebecca will describe that out of convenience, they ended up filling the couple basins with this highly reflective blue stone finish. And upon doing that, that stone gives a sort of filtering and purifying effect. It can be utilized for very minor long-term healing acceleration, as well as just purifying water scavenged from nearby lands that rids it of toxins. Once upon a time, you guys had poked and pried into those things and weren't quite sure what they did, but seemingly their function has been found. You also just see, as you're moving or in this space, a smattering of various individuals throughout, most of whom you recognize, all of whom Toby Rama recognizes, having spent the most time in Forest Hollow. Just general townsfolk going about various duties in this space, scrubbing some floors, painting on walls with sort of rudimentary paints. Many just them having repurposed many of the altars with hay sacks and stuff for bedding. Sort of a communal dormitory style living space this whole place is, and it looks dramatically repaired and sort of refurbished from the time you guys had first encountered it. Well, don't be shy. Give me the goods. Where are you coming from? What have you been doing?
Oh, Benin, if those are healing waters, it might be a good thing for your throat to spend some time resting in there with your fellows.
She gives you a nod in acknowledgement.
Well, we've been all over. I don't think it was made clear, but on the night of the Force Hollow attack, Gallus was kind of singled out. It seemed very intentional that someone came to strike him down, and after the figure left, it seems we now know is a very important Durastian general. Some of the beast folk of Chimeras helped us escape, and from there we've been all the way past the Emerald into Chimeras. We've spoken with the king of that land.
Well, we spoke with him too. He's the one that escorted us all here from the village when we were fleeing. He pushed back many soldiers and escorted us into the woods to safety. He did let us know about Gallus's passing. I didn't know he had such the attention of Durast's notice. Many were all obviously devastated from his loss, but Rhea has been distinctly a mess about it.
And she's out currently, isn't she? I was able to contact her.
As soon as you say that, she sort of like with a sort of paranoid demeanor sort of looks around her and says, perhaps we best talk out back for further conversations. We have much to reveal about what we understand Forest Hollow's occupation to be. But some of the townsfolk are rather perturbed that Rhea and Jokel haven't returned from last night's scouting adventures. And so if you would like, she will, and you even pass Ira, who's like engaged in conversation, who eagerly comes to greet you all as well, before going back to whatever conversation he was. You see him like drafting things and drawing out schematics with someone off in the distance. He's over here with another townsman. but you are all able to be led out back with Rebecca. And similarly to the rest of the space, as you sort of come back to this familiar map, it is now winter compared to the previous early fall, late summer you had previously been on it. But the sort of ubiquitous rot that had taken this place from the Dark Dryad's presence has really receded in the past couple months. It looks still sterile and run down. There's still a huge broken ceiling that allows just the elements to ravage this landscape, but it looks calmer and more peaceful and somewhat snow covered, at least dusted in this vicinity. But then Rebecca will say, "All right, sorry about that. Just didn't want the townsfolk to get too riled up and scared. I can tell you about Rhea, certainly. What do you all need? You've been traveling for quite some time."
We've been doing okay and not traveling in too much discomfort. So we were pretty close by. So we've only been up for a few hours. So I think we're all in pretty good shape. And I don't know if any of you feel differently, but
I mean, do you have some wine or ale, and we could drink, and you could tell us the story of how you fared, and just tell us the whole story. Oh, we also have some wine. I forgot. You might not have a lot.
Oh, yes, if or whatever you have, that would be preferred. We've been trying to very carefully ration out what's remaining from the bowl. This could be a suitable occasion for it, but
I take out
dip into that.
I take out 2 bottles of the Elvish wine that we got when we partied with the elves the other night. And
this is good stuff.
I thought you might like it.
This is Rebecca we're talking to.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. From my kin, so enjoy some Moon Crest Elf wine.
Well, thank you for the refreshment. We could sit and discuss if you'd like.
Rebecca, I think one of the things we're looking for right now is, first, safe haven for the 2 Elvish folks we just brought in. Their town was destroyed, essentially. So for them to just, if it's not too many extra mouths to feed, to have them stay here, but we're looking for information, really. We haven't been back this way, like you said, for quite a while, and we know Durast has moved into Creatia a whole bunch. What's the news of Force Hollow? What other kind of Durastian changes have you seen? And I guess most importantly, where are the matrons?
They're the 2 remaining. You know that Lady Adola passed shortly before the attack.
Right.
The other 2 are poking around here somewhere. We can certainly make sure you get the chance to meet them, engage in conversation. They've been brought up to speed on anything I know. But let's start with the basics. And as you guys begin to have this conversation, that might be a nice point for a quick bio break before we come back to this.
Sure. Absolutely.
Coffee.
Fun fact.
Coffee.
Where in Roll20 can you have the names show the pictures as well?
It's fudge. It's like small icons or something. Hold on, I know what it's called. I think it's under like audio visual. Like where you show your video, or like you turn off your video.
Ah, yes. Names only. There we go.
There you go.
Perfect. I had that off because I think it was on by default, but now I want to see my new Toby.
How were the drinks yesterday, Steven?
Did you? Oh, Steven.
There were a lot of drinks.
Love it.
It was yeah, it was a day.
Wait. Oh, okay.
Archie, you're so dumb.
Pull up, drank. Sit down, drank.
Rimline or bleed line? It's a built-in magenta.
So the trim line is the outermost thing, square. The bleed line is between the blue and the thing.
Just... Oh,
So the weird, you're gonna have to like cut these outside of
like,
this thing.
why? Because it's all.
Because I'm saying, whichever one you enlarge second is gonna be on
Oh,
top.
yeah. I just want to see if how it looks.
Guys, something happened to me yesterday that has never happened to me in my entire life.
Such a house.
We had cooked and baked chicken breasts, skinless chicken breasts, and I was biting into one like a piece of a chopped chicken breast.
I don't want to hear this.
Chicken wraps. I bit in, and there was this hard crunch, and I pulled it out. There was a thick fucking bone in my boneless chicken breast. And I'm like, in the large scope of things, a bone in your chicken's not that gross. Like we eat wings all the time, but when you're expecting it to be boneless,
Oh,
like,
sure.
never in my entire life have I eaten skinless, boneless chicken breasts and had there been a bone in there. It was fucking weird.
That's crazy.
But also, it's probably so visceral.
It was, and it was just like I was so off put by it because because of the expectation.
Yeah.
Of boneless. If it was a wing, I wouldn't care if I bite into bone, but it was just like so jarring.
Yeah. I've got a similar story. Alex is not gonna like me telling this, but one time Alex made naan, and she used like this like a cookie, like a circle cutter, and there was paper underneath it, and like one of them, the paper got cut up and then baked into the naan, and I bit into it, and it was like the weirdest like experience
Yeah.
ever, like biting into like bread, and there's just this layer of paper that you can't bite through. It was terrifying.
Yeah, very similar because it's like biting paper's not gross inherently, but when there's an expectation, and then it's just such a jarring experience.
Yes.
I think it might have been. Have you ever like bought yogurt that has like parchment kind of on the top of the yogurt, like Greek yogurt that has like a parchment kind of like. I think it might have been that.
No, it was the paper underneath it. You were cutting it out on paper.
No, I wasn't cutting it. I'm like almost positive it was the yogurt. It was yogurt paper.
Huh?
It's not my proudest moment. I mean,
Have you ever gone to lift a jug of milk or something and you thought it was gonna be heavy and it was way lighter and you went like that? That's like a little bit of like reminds me of what you're talking about, where you just expect one thing and something else happens. Where you go to take a drink of something like you thought it was water and it turns out to be like juice.
Vodka.
Yeah. Or you go to drink your vodka and it's water, and you're like, oh.
Huh? The worst thing that can happen.
Pardon me while I stuff my face for 2 seconds.
Oh, I don't mind the pause. Trying to build a notebook using some very cool art. Let's see if it'll.
Like building a custom notebook that you'll then get in person?
That is the hope.
That's cool.
Just kind of just stumbled on it and I'm experimenting with it right now.
That seems like that's such a good idea for what's probably like real basic level capability. Like you can design t-shirts, so why can't you slap on some images onto like a notebook and print your own custom notebooks? That's awesome.
Yeah. You know, a guy who does t-shirts.
Cool.
It's so low res.
Well, if you guys are ready, we can certainly dive back in. And you guys have all just entered out the back through the main back doors of the Alalor ruins to this massive, what has come to be known as a celestial orrery. Just an ancient stonework spiral, or not spiral, but curved archway devices that seemingly Minerva and co. had been able to activate. But you arrive back here, and Rebecca says, all right, so the basics. I suppose we should start with the fact that Rhea and Jokel can't sit the fuck still. And they keep doing these missions, they call them, where they engage in a series of sabotage guerrilla warfare strikes on the Durastians that are currently occupying Fours Hollow. They've been pretty reckless, but they've also been, especially Rhea, has been emotionally volatile as of late. I think she was on one of these missions when she heard from you last, Toby Rama. She mentioned that she heard from you. That did our hearts some good. They've been doing things like taking out stables, wiping out some horses, sabotaging supplies. They even tried to poison one of the central wells at one point, but they were essentially caught red-handed and fled before they could successfully pursue that venture. However, the information they've gained there, the understanding of that layout and the occupation has had a bit of a price, because Durast has been sending more reinforcements a bit to Fours Hollow in retaliation, as well as, don't understand why or how, but Durast has convinced a tribe of bugbears and their domesticated wargs to join up the cause. just from the northern boundary of the Emerald. They're not Durastians, but for whatever reason, they've seen enough value partnering up for now. Seems to be an uneasy alliance, but on a sadder note, Reagan and Jonah, you might remember them as some of the front guards. It's not like they've been killed or nothing, but worse, they were captured at some point, and they've joined up with Durast. I guess they saw reliable meals and comfortable beds in their old Nora fort as preferable to our respite here.
Did that happen before they got to come to the ruins?
No, they actually were joining Jokel and Rhea for a scouting mission out there. We've sent various mercenaries alongside Rhea and Jokel occasionally. Those two got nabbed and then turned coat to save their own hides pretty quickly. So they're not treated particularly well as far as we can understand. But yeah, they're with Durast now, I suppose.
I imagine.
Luckily, they have not been able, though they were not particularly resilient in protecting our information, they couldn't give accurate description of where we are, thanks to the mythol. But I believe that is what led them to, and looks toward, the building where your wood elven friends are. So there's that. What else can I depress you with today?
Does she keep you updated? Did she tell you what she was doing if she hasn't returned?
No, is the easiest answer. She and Jaquel left around midday or so yesterday, a full sun cycle now. Typically they'll go there, have some nighttime fun, and return. They didn't return this morning, neither of them. Obviously I'm terrified. Can't show that to the people, but they know something's up too. This is, in one sense, from the recklessness, not unexpected that this is possible, that they not return. Maybe something has just simply gotten their way. But at the same time, this has never happened before. I fear for what it would do to morale. We've barely been able to lift morale a bit with all the rejuvenation efforts around here. If Rhea or Jokel, we were barely able to survive news of Gallus. We can't lose another.
Well, we certainly won't sit idle and just let them be gone. We can do some things here.
Well, that's what I was wondering. I, unfortunately, am somewhat locked here in case Rhea or Jokel return, need to use the bells. If there's more assaults on where we are in the Emerald, it's still possible fire could spread to where we are. I don't know that ancient, unkept up mythals at that would necessarily prevent this region from being burned. I feel like I want to keep most of the mercenaries here. It's not really my call. Ray is in charge nowadays. But I'm hesitant to send any out to check on them. It's been a topic of conversation all morning. And actually, now that I think of it, weirdly timed your arrival. I don't mean to put you to work, but if the lot of you would be interested in venturing, checking things out, that would certainly be helpful. Don't want to impose, but we are a bit desperate.
You point us in a direction, we'll go get them, or we'll track them down and see what we can We'll bring them back for you. Do we know a general direction of where they were headed? I'm assuming towards Forest Hollow for whatever antics they were up
Yeah.
to.
I suspect something in Forest Hollow is keeping them. However, the case.
Well, I think we're ready to go, so I don't think we need anything
right,
here.
right now. Are you not tired?
But we just woke up a few hours ago. We're doing fine.
We were. Aenalad is closer than. I don't know how much you've heard from the others, but I'm also concerned now with Reagan and Jonah. Whatever they're able to communicate, if part of the Aenalad assault is maybe they have some captives, and maybe now they've got people who can lead them here, and some wood elves.
Oh, that could be a real problem in it.
So I don't know if you've heard from anything Rhea has discovered of captives, but it seemed very recent. It seemed they hadn't returned yet with their supplies, but I'm still concerned about that.
We haven't heard anything in the past few days since my understanding of when Aenalad was burned. I guess, yeah, a couple days, almost a week now. But it's very possible there could be captives in Forest Hollow being interrogated. But they wouldn't know anything about... they might know the location of these ruins.
They might even know, just put the elf in front and start walking in a direction.
Yeah, they could be used as sort of lead dogs, guiding them into the mythos, perhaps.
Well, we might not want to send mercenaries with us, but maybe some of the elves from Aenalad would like to join. I know Fennon
I'll certainly...
Austin going to... Fennon specifically has been implying she wants to do something.
I'll bring it up to them. I'll certainly ask. What else?
You mentioned some reinforcements. Any ballpark 50 soldiers stationed there? 100?
Yeah, we can discuss sort of logistics, I guess. Let's start with who we expect is their leader. There's a man that leads as Thane currently. We've only heard tale of his name to be Gaspard. Some faluti fellow. He's always lost in his books and things. Never leaves the townhouse. He seems to take up where the matriarchs were at town hall. He commands all the individuals at Forest Hall, the knights and soldiers and such. My estimate would be that, yeah, there might be 50 or so knights, soldiers. Some of the reinforcements replenished some of the numbers that were slain by some of Rhea and Jokel's antics. But they sent a few particularly capable individuals.
We heard
dark,
there's two
splint
reavers.
armor, large hooked reavers is what you called them?
I think
Well, they call themselves.
Yeah.
Interesting.
We heard through interrogating, we dispatched the Durastians around Aenalad, and we learned that there's 2 there. I don't know if that's still the case, or if there's more, or if there's less, but...
I think we got eyes on 3 of them total.
One of them was part of the raid on Aenalad, I would assume then.
Oh, did you engage with them?
Yes.
Successful, I imagine, then?
Yes, but very dangerous.
Okay, so we know they can be slain, not out of the realm of possibility. Yeah, unless things have changed, we only know, so then 2 more, potentially, as well as the Thane, who knows if he has anything up his sleeve in his defense. The Reavers don't always stay to his side, but they do occasionally.
Would they call him the Reaver?
Oh, we've heard that the Thane goes by
Mage.
Gaspard.
I think we heard him say that damn mage. So I wonder if it's the same one.
Yes, if he's always locked in his studies, I could see that being the case, and certainly with magical capabilities, wouldn't need to require too much protection constantly at his side, at least against common grunts. I should let you all know, it seems to be the case that, take no offense, I try not to, Forest Hollow's occupation is kind of a shit gig for them. No one's real happy about it. We've heard some of the soldiers make fun of Gaspard, even for trying to prove himself enough that he can get a better gig somewhere else. So this isn't a highly suited position. It's likely they just sent a contingent of soldiers here to make sure it doesn't fall back into our hands, or that Belladonia could sneak across the lake and make a home base here of some sort.
I guess that's a good question. How are the folk here doing? Do they feel real antsy to get back? Are they adjusting well to being out here?
I think a lot of the Noras sort of use their natural charismatic leadership in suggesting that we will take it back someday. I have seen increasing skepticism and even pessimism from the populace, and with the rejuvenation efforts here, they seem to take to this place as if they're comfortable with it. They would certainly prefer their own homes, but this is working for now.
I guess that becomes a question for us: is get them out? Do we want to? It's a lot of soldiers.
I'd say
they do rounds. They're often accompanied by maybe a knight with a few soldiers at his side, a reaver with a few knights at his side, various warg tamers scouting the streets. Like, the guerrilla warfare has been successful for Maria and Jokel because they've learned some of the patterns and are able to seize opportunities when locations are being overlooked. I think the most important part is if we could occupy, commandeer, capture this Thane, maybe we could have a bargaining chip with him, or maybe should his rule fall to an end, the rest will run home. Nearest occupied city seems to be Elandris. Regarding your question, Roulette, I'm not quite up to speed with a lot of the national ongoings, but Elandris seems to be where they're getting their reinforcements from occasionally. A little bit bigger of a city.
Where is Elandris?
Directly west of Forest Hollow. That's notably where Jiri had come from when he met up with Telperion at the gates and entered Forest Hollow.
Gotcha.
It's where also where Moby went back home to.
And Atheros is the one that's still resisting.
Based on your latest intel, yes.
Well, Rebecca, I'd say small steps first. We can head out and track down and return Mr. Jokel and Rhea. I think that might be a good first step for us to get them back.
Yeah, that's a good place to start.
And from there, we can.
Quick question: the architecture here. I know I don't think I did too much studying of it the first time around. Does this look in any way, shape, or form similar to the stuff that was underground in the Barrens? The
sort of construction of this orrery compared to that. Go ahead and give me an investigation or history check.
Oh.
2-6.
In general, no. The construction is different. This is distinctly elven work, elven craftsmanship when it comes to the way the stone slabs had been placed and stuff. However, and the other was definitely more tribal. Definitely, you had sort of identified it to be a lizard folk abode at some point, used by Villian.
Ah, yeah,
However,
yeah.
one thing that is of note now, for the first time, is that the runes, these big glyph symbols carved into the segments of stone archways, you guys have traveled enough now where you know distinctly those are druidic runes. Again, not relating a language, but more like hieroglyphics would paint patterns of pictures. This means star, this means blood, this means earth, etc. Which would align with any of the intel Minerva may have granted some of you from their interaction with one of these devices. So there's a druidic link, but not cultural architecture. Well, I don't mean to send you off into danger. You're welcome to stick around here for as long as you like. But if you're interested and willing to help us get our best two mercenaries back, that'd be rather helpful.
Rome, these are new people to you and a new cause. Does helping them in this way suit you?
If this is where life has taken us, then perhaps this is the next fork in the road, so that we must help these particular people.
Plus, Rome, you're the only one I've ever seen partake in guerrilla warfare, so you're perfect for this.
I think we could stealth in and figure out a way to extract these two.
You gotta figure out how to make a dinosaur quiet. How about we let's get on the road, I guess. To the forest.
I think it might be wise for us to talk with a few of the mercenaries who have gone to find out the paths that they've learned are the safe ones, and maybe a little information on when watches shift or whatnot, since we'll need to get in stealthily if we're going to have time to free them.
Rebecca, is there anyone here who would know that information? Or are Jokel and Ray the ones who kind of have that?
I would go talk with Ira. He's been the one that's been taking all the information gathered by the mercenaries and sort of deducing patterns and sketching up schematics of the town and areas of interest. He might be the best one. Certainly any of the mercenaries could help. Ira might be the best for sort of tactical assessment.
Cool. Let's go touch base with Ira. To Ira.
Perfect. Okay. You guys are able to go join up over here-ish. Up toward the top right of the map. You see in very simple robes familiar to you, the guise of the 3-foot tall gnomish man, Ira Middletop. He's talking with just one of the townsfolk that seems to have a knack for tactician assessment, and sees you all coming and says, hold one second.
Yes.
Yes, I think Ira is not quite as high-pitched as Jean, so it's a bit more here. But what can I do for you all? It is so good to see you back here.
Hello, Ira. It's been too long.
Yes, of course, Toby Rama. It is wonderful to have you back at our side.
We are interested in going to help the current scouting party. Joe Kell, and we're wondering if you could help get us up to date on what you guys have learned in your time scouting.
I had suspected the moment I saw you walk through these halls that Rebecca would enlist your aid if she could. Yes, come take a look at the map. And he will bring you over to where he has a map of Forest Hollow schematically sketched out, but we can pull up the map of Forest Hollow and sort of take a look at it.
It's been so long.
We were level 3 when we left.
Which I have a picture for, but for some reason had not had the map on it. Hold for just a moment.
Or no, we must have been level 4 because I think we leveled up the second we did the piano room.
Yes. And,
Oh.
we only spent like a session. Back,
Yeah, because we hit level 5 once we got to Chimeras.
Okay, got it. Just 20 seconds or so.
No, I used a level 3 ability in the throne room
to move
And I
the
don't feel
piano.
to move the piano.
Sorry,
And then we
it was hollow.
Yes. Well, we left Force Hollow twice. Once I'm talking about when we left it the last time. When like the Arc Knight came with the dragon.
Oh yeah.
We had just gotten it to level 4.
Okay. So I use this map for Forest Hollow. It's technically upside down, but does a better representation of the northeast southwest. So just forgive the upside down numbers. Some notable locations. You recall Town Hall to be here, sort of in the center of town. The Nora mercenary camp is roughly down here. And further up the hill, further south, is sort of that training grounds area where you guys had sparred and then fought the Arc Knight off screen.
That's great.
Boris's farm is not technically a building on here, but would be sort of over here, just near the forest toward the east. Arborlock is certainly to the east in general. And sort of the front gates of the city run from the west around the north, kind of encapsulating this whole area in between gates, the lake, and the forest.
Where's the corn maze?
That would be this northeast corn maze that you guys did.
Oh man, we should totally attack through the corn maze just like they did that one time.
Do we still have the chickens?
You would think
I still
also,
have mine.
famously in Forest Hollow lore, that corn maze at the heart of Hearthfire Festival is always done the day before the crops are cut. You would think that the cornfield, having been harvested at this point, likely won't offer much cover.
Sure.
But you certainly could approach from various other locations, but the bulk of the military, unsurprisingly, is using the Nora Mercenary Fort as their base. Can house dozens of individuals. Who knows how fully they're filling out that space. Joe Kell's smithy has been sort of repopulated as basic smithing gear, refurbishing of weapons, but behind it has become sort of the warg pens where the bugbears sleep outside with their warg pets and domesticate them and keep them in pens until they're utilized for scouting throughout the day and nights. Town Hall is where the Thane resides. Other than that, various positions of note, the sort of town, sort of like a watchtower is probably heavily occupied as they scout past the gates looking to Elandris, probably for not only invading forces that could need to be defended against, but also incoming reinforcements. That's where they would see them come from. Otherwise, gate to the north, lake to the east, hillside and forest to the south. You guys know your southeast of this map. About 6-ish hours of travel, probably, knowing forest terrain well at this point and knowing direction pretty clearly. Otherwise, it's determined from Ira and mercenary reports that various soldiers do rounds around the city. Some occupy various houses at sporadic time, taking short rests throughout the day, eating lunch in various buildings, sort of posting up wherever they like, but in general doing rounds around the city to make sure no one's trying to infiltrate them. Right now, they're not, as a force, there's no obvious ambition here. They are just holding a town for their motherland. Certainly the Thane, there has been evidence or mention that he's hoping to get the fuck out of Forest Hollow.
Right.
But the rest of them are just going about daily soldier activity duties, making sure that no slinking figures in the night are, gonna sabotage them.
Oh, guys, I already got a crazy idea.
What do you got?
What if, wait, we know where the Harassian armor is, right? What if we pretended to be a new Thane and we showed up with a fancy letter that Roulette writes, and we
What if
tell
we just
Gaspard that we're the new Thane and that he's got to go back to Duress and we're in charge now.
He gets to go back to Doras, not
He
has
gets to, yeah.
Jerry, we could we could just take the place of the Reaver we just killed. Also,
Yeah, exactly. And then go
Return
shoot up
from
and
the
be like,
mission.
Gaspard, go home.
yeah, I think we got, and I'm taking out the clothier book, and I'm just gonna ask Rebecca specifically, what do these average soldiers look like, as far as what they're wearing? Are they just run-of-the-mill Dorastian soldiers? What do the knights look like? Basically making sure I know what they look like. I think you muted your headphones, not on Zoom.
You get that information from them, and it lines up with basics you've understood.
Perfect. Gee, I think that might be a really good idea. We could just kind of convince him to head on out, and I don't know, maybe we can install you as the new leader of the town.
Oh man, guys, I learned so much from all the kings that we visited and queens about how to be a good ruler. I'd be really good.
So there's a couple choices ahead of us. Do we do this charade on this initial journey to get the two of them, or do we stealth our way and grab the two of them so that the
We can
Jurassics
return.
don't have any leverage over us?
Well, I think we just gotta get to town and see what the deal is there first.
Well, let's get our information from Ira that they've already acquired. And then
I
do that.
also could look in on Rhea. Not just send a message. I could send a message, and if she replies and tells us, "Oh, we're here staking out so and so," we could go meet up with them. But I could look in on her and see where she is.
Oh, I assume they were
Or
captured.
see if she's
It's a good idea.
captured. It's my most powerful magic I have access to, but a single resource to get confirmation of her situation. And likely Jokel's tied in with that.
We should have brought those Durast uniforms with us.
Well, we have the book that can replicate those.
Or if we run into a scouting party, we could remove them of theirs.
So, Ira, obviously they're not back yet. Does that lead you to believe that they've been captured? Or do you think that there's something, is this typical for them to be gone so long? Do you know what they were seeking out to do this day when they didn't return?
Other than what Rebecca may have filled you in on, the only other piece of information I think I might be able to offer is that Rhea and Jokel's antics have not only gained the notice of the Durastian occupation, gathering reinforcements to this location and such, but they have been seen. The Durast knows what Rhea and Jokel look like. With that in mind, they have probably identified these two specifically as the root of their problems. other varied Force Hollow Nor mercenaries have been at their sides occasionally, but not enough to solidify themselves in the mind of Durast. My worry is that unless I'm not thinking of some other obstacle or goal that could be delaying them, I worry that Durast finally caught the two that they've been keeping an eye out for, and, well, they won't hold back their frustration and anger. I think we're working on a timetable here. So I'm delighted to hear that you all are willing to...
Okay. Toby is going to get out the couple pieces to his scales from his pack, and in this room, pour a little bit of water into the very shallow disc, and then fill the very heavy bowl on the other side of the scale to make them very off balance. And I will cast Scrying. And I will, you hear a particular creature, see and hear. Or you
Oh,
can
yeah.
but
Just because I do have a very basic token for her, I'll throw that up on the screen here.
What else? Well, creates, see it here. Sensor moves with the target, remaining 2 feet of it. You can choose a location, but I'm going to choose Rhea. And as Toby casts the spell, the very off-balance scales will come back into being in balance. Which doesn't look like it would make a lot of sense, but the very shallow one will shimmer, and Toby will look into it.
And as your vision is magically guided to another location, does Rhea need to make a save against this? Because she will not know to auto-fail this.
Right. It says the target must make a wisdom saving throw. It doesn't say...
And then are there modifiers based on your familiarity with her or any other variables to consider?
Knowledge of her. So second hand, I've heard of. First hand, I've met. Familiar, I know the target, which I would assume that one, and that has a -5 to her save. And this cast, the casting is 10 minutes, like the time to cast it. So I'll ask if they have anything of Rhea's still here, to potentially help me hone in on her more.
Got it. They can give you a secondary set of her quiver that she didn't take with her last night. She has a couple quivers.
So I think that
utilizing
should make
that
-9.
Okay.
Juice.
Which I would assume, unless a crit, should fail against my 18. It is wisdom.
Wisdom
Saving throw.
18 is juicy.
Very nice. So
Who's saying?
gaze into this magically illuminated disc, offset and magically balanced on your set of scales that you had commissioned from Mirage. And quickly coming into focus in the disc, visible to only you, the rest of your allies just see a shining disc of light that you're peering into. Almost like dropping into the middle of a heist movie. You imagine in the background, you see an individual, Rhea, half-orc woman, now leader of the Nora mercenaries. You see her drop to the ground and put her back up against the back of a stable. She peers out one side, and there are wargs. She runs the other way. She looks carefully, pauses for a single soldier to walk across the way, and then darts to another house, unlatches it, shifts it out, stealthily sneaks inside, looks around, quickly runs up the stairs to the second floor and kicks in the door, pulling her bow very quickly. So it is the fort then. Stops drawing her arrow, puts her arrow back in her quiver. You now getting a glimpse of her and having seen her, she's pretty banged up. She has seen hardship in recent history. Some dried blood. Her hair is a tangled mess, usually very well kept braids. And she just kind of collapses onto a bed, sitting, and then just leans up against the back of it for a minute and just puts her bow down, tries to catch her breath.
The duration of the spell is also 10 minutes. Concentration.
Mm-hmm.
Ira described the warg pen being near Jokel's. Do I get the sense she's in Jokel's smithy?
You get the sense she's in a building near Jokel's smithy, not the smithy itself.
Can I cast Sending while concentrating on scrying?
I'm going to say no.
Okay. So I will the spell to end early in that case.
Well, you can cast other spells while concentrating. This is just such an active ritual type vibe. Let me see. Range, self, concentration. No, you know what? You still have your full capabilities around here. You're still existing in your own form. It's not like you're peering through a familiar's eyes right now. You're looking and seeing a movie play out on a disc in front of you. So you can still cast a spell if you would like.
Okay.
And while you're considering doing this, you just see her utilizing a few of the extra minutes of the scrying. She's just catching her breath, recuperating for a minute, clutching her side a little bit. She's favoring that leg and that side of her torso. Whatever she was trying to do here, seemingly unsuccessful, and now she's just taking a beat.
I will cast Sending. Rhea, it is Toby Rama again. We are at the ruins. We can be at Force Hollow in a few hours. Can you let us know a place to meet you there and help you with what you're working on? I assume Jokel's in danger?
Jerry says hi.
You see her look around in confusion, and then just a smile of recognition happen. Your timing is curious, and your help is desperately needed. Jokel's been taken. I almost was. Meet at Boris's at nightfall? I think he's in the fort.
I will come out of concentrating on the scrying spell. Jokel has been taken. Rhea is sequestered in a building. My allergies are kicking up. She said to meet at Boris's at nightfall. So I say we start going right now.
The parent comes up to you and he just lifts you up. He's like, "Our own little augury. Amazing job, Toby." He just puts you down. You did all that? You let her know?
Did you tell her Jerry said hi?
She ignored me for some reason. It was weird. She seemed a little frazzled.
Rude.
Well, we better go say hi in person then, Jerry.
Let's get to it. That does remove me of my most powerful magic, but I can still help you guys out. And
that information is worth more than any spell you might cast.
That's my thought. Say, let's get to it.
So the only question is, I don't. Okay. Will we need help? Like, another, like Fennon, who is very capable and wants to do something.
I
I don't
think
think
we
she'd
could
slow us down.
quickly gather the mercenaries and Fennon if she wants, and ask how many they think they need to spare to stay here, and if they want to come with us. But the bigger the group, the harder the extraction will be.
I was just thinking Fennon alone. And we know we're going with the intention of getting into that fort and getting Jokel. And we have to be utterly unseen, or else they'll just kill him if they know we're there.
The only benefit is that it's one of the closest parts of the town to where we are. So if we get in, get out, whatever dispersed soldiers in the town might not catch us, but it still is probably where most of the soldiers are still.
But it also will be night, and it's important to know they're not expecting any power or force from the Nora mercenaries. It's never happened. They have one of the two that they know are bothering them. They maybe will expect a trick from Rhea, but they can't realistically expect her to rescue Jokel. So they will likely be tired, lazy because they don't care for their Thane, and disorganized because they're not expecting a threat. So if we can startle them with a showing of force and confuse them, like, I think the more we can come down on them with that element of surprise, the better we will be off.
Okay, I think we can do this. Check in
You're
with Fenn.
setting out then?
Yes, she is quite worried about Jokel. And so we're going to meet up with Rhea, who is still on her feet.
Oh, very well then. I was saving this for if Rhea ever requested it. One of the few things I was able to acquire from my house in the panicked escape. Here, Toby Rama, you can pass this to whoever you wish in your party. Best of luck.
And he will hand you a very small, sort of like a upside down raindrop, thin crystal vial that looks like it has no liquid in it.
That should help one of you remain unnoticed visibly for a time. Could be useful in the extraction.
Thank you, Ira. This is going to be very, very useful. We'll see you on the morrow with Rhea and Jokel in tow.
Very well. I'll let Rebecca know you're leaving, and yes, feel free to check in with whoever on the way out. Thank you all.
I'll give him like a little hug. Just like, it's good to see you all.
You as well.
Yuri, I need it back. Fork it over. I need it. Were you just gonna hang on to my cloak?
Wait, who's got your cloak?
You have my cloak.
Wait,
I
when did
don't.
I have your cloak?
You borrowed it to stealth better, don't you recall?
No.
Gave it to you for that stealthing.
Wait, am I actually wearing it?
You actually have it, but I don't know. Like, I don't know if you're wearing it or not. I loaned it to you, and you never said it. You didn't give it back, so I'm just gonna like tease Jiri of like trying to.
Jiri's wearing it and then doesn't realize it. Every time he turns around, he can't see it.
Amazing.
I start trying to pull it off of him. Give it here.
Oh,
stealthy for this.
I completely forgot about that thing. Sure.
Here, you don't need anything to help stealth you. I have powers to stealth you.
Yeah, I mean, are we still gonna do this like switch the Thane?
Well, you also can turn into mist, so I was just thinking if one of us needs a stealthy cloak, it's not you.
Oh, bro, I could just mist in there and then teleport him out of there. It'd be super easy.
So I take the cloak and I started tuning it since he's not gonna need it.
Okay. Tuning your cloak.
Jiri, as far as the great deception of Thane number 2, I'd say let's just get there first and see what the deal is. We might not even need to do that, or maybe we can get Ray and Jokel out first, and then once they're safe,
Maybe we could plan like a
then we do the
polar incursion.
Thane swap or something. But I said let's just
Thane swap.
get on the
Also, ideally, we're not going into the center of town, which is where the Thane would be.
I'm also
Okay.
gonna cast Pass Without a Trace just so that we're
Oh.
entirely stealth.
yeah, once we get closer, yeah, that
Yeah.
would give us cover of darkness. That'd be awesome.
All right. So, do we need? So let's go see Fennin, and then if there's anything we need supplies wise for the whatever, but I mean generally we have what we need.
I also think we brought kind of as much as we could carry from those rowboats that the directions, so we'll offload that and.
Which Telperion will specifically have thought would go for her to her specifically, that like her and Yuri settling into this new place would have something to start with.
Yeah.
So we go with Fennin.
Welcome to Go to Fennin. She is now similarly dressed down a bit, enjoying the sort of relaxation pool of healing properties with her allies and Yuri, who's sort of splashing around and just like talking to them, like distracted from worry for a moment, very excited to see some of his townfolk. But yeah, what do you say to Fennin?
Well, Fennin, we've already got a chance to go strike back in a way, and we're going to be setting off momentarily to go. And I think there's part to where one of the mercenaries was captured, and we're going to go help steal him back. And then I'll just kind of resume. So you may stay here and recuperate and be with Yuri and these folk, or if your blood is boiling, you could join us. We could use the extra hand.
Thanks back to you. To be honest, though my decision 2 hours ago would have been very different, seeing remnants of our community and the young one happy, I'm not so eager to rush into danger and throw my life away. I mean to stay with the boy, if that is all right.
Absolutely. And I'll give Yuri a little noogie as we go. Push him back into the water.
Thanks Forsaken Wynds.
That's so sweet.
Yeah, dude. Maybe when you grow up,
Thank
you
you,
can join our crew and be part of it. You gotta be this tall. Though.
Okay. When I'm that tall.
I put it like right, like Toby height, like barely tall enough, Toby.
Jerry, come on.
I think I'm shorter than Toby, so maybe I'm out of the group.
I think Toby is the shortest
5'4".
based on
Toby's-
original
yeah.
heights.
Oh
I
yeah,
think-
yeah, I'm 5'6".
yeah.
I'm like 5'5",
Yeah.
5'6". Yeah.
Perfect. With sort of some closure or decision with Fennin, Rebecca is able to see you off, and Ira certainly gave you some intel to move forward with. You guys are welcome to head out if you want to. You're also welcome to greet the matriarchs and just get caught up if you wish, or even just say that you're intending to lend aid. There's no necessarily new information they're able to relay.
And I think
At this point,
Toby's kind of being
yeah.
urgent. So,
other than their wisdom, which was valuable, and their general guidance, the matriarchs have almost been in this survivalist shift for this culture, this populace. The matriarchs sort of power is almost different now. The Nora mercenaries are critically responsible for everything that happens here now, and the matriarchs tend to people's wounds, lift people's spirits, but they're not really ruling anything anymore. Not that they were ruling before, but their role has changed, but they've adapted to it. But they're caught up to speed out of respect by the Nora mercenaries, but they don't make many decisions nowadays, and they are certainly not critical for the survival of this people right now. So you just get that as you greet them, but you're welcome to head out. I would like, depending on what you guys want to do, you have a several-hour journey ahead of you, placing you in Forest Hollow likely around sunset or later. I would like one of you or two of you to roll survival or assist another with survival.
I will.
The success of this will affect something else.
Well, maybe somebody should help me.
Yeah, I was wondering if I can still chime in and say either to help or do it myself.
I kind of figured it might be you two doing the survivaling. So yeah, I would say, having Rome already rolled, I would say it would be up to your roll now, Toby. Instead of giving her advantage, you each roll. Okay.
Do I luck point that? I'm very interested in saving the life of someone who I've been in a town with for a while. I'm going to spend a luck point, the Forsaken Medallion luck point, to try and reroll that.
Forsaken Medallion luck point. Go ahead and reroll.
Fuck.
Ooh.
Okay.
I will mark that off.
Okay.
Maybe direction Rome is like, Toby, come on, watch out for that branch, and like kind of the navigating, but I'm directionally urgent.
Although you guys, in general, you're welcome to fill out flavor or discussion along the journey, but although you guys are familiar with forest terrain and have taken this route before, it is almost a little unnerving of, oh shit, this really requires attention. We have to be good about this still. And it just puts a seed of doubt or nervousness that you can make the journey in time. But by the time you start approaching the edge of the forest and you can see the setting sun in the distance to the west, you arrive sort of in the forest back behind Boris's farm area at sunset of this day, successfully in about roughly 6 hours time or so, like you had estimated. So you did not lose any time on the journey.
Was it here or was it here?
Boris's farm is like literally on the corner of farmland. You guys are just kind of approaching from further within the woods, so you just haven't gotten to Boris's farm yet.
Okay.
But you see the end of the tree line up ahead.
Well, we have short rested while chilling at the town that ruined.
Sure, yeah, you guys could have short rested, yeah.
The only thing that affects, I previously I got a side eye back, and now I have my recovery back too.
Only thing there of note is that you're only able to benefit from 2 short rests in a long rest period. Just keep that in mind.
And then also a bit of talk while we move. We've got these wind sails. That could be a great way out of here quickly. I've got the necklace to take Jokel or Rhea into. And then Jiri, if you could give yours up and fly by yourself, or one of us could go invisible and just trek it, I think that would allow us to make a quick exit.
Oh man, I can make a bunch of people fly.
If need be, that'd be awesome. Cause it's gonna go down pretty quick. If anything goes wrong,
we'll be fine.
Okay.
During the journey, I will take 40 minutes of this 6-hour thing to draw 4 more pages, sketch 4 more pages in the clothing book. 2 basic Durastians, 2 Durastian knights, just to have it in there.
Okay. Perfect.
Do we have to take off our clothes to put those clothes on, or
Nope.
does this appear on us?
It just changes your active clothes.
Okay.
Perfect.
Jiri will put an illusion over his body of the Thane and just practice a little bit, like practice different phrases and different sayings. He's trying to like doing a little acting practice as we go.
I don't know that you have seen the Thane.
Maybe the Reaver instead.
The Reaver.
Okay. Because I think Telperion is the only one who has seen the Thane via a mind reading and has no real way to imprint that. But Reaver got it.
Sorry, yes, I meant the Reaver. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. You disguise yourself as the Reaver. Are the rest of you activating your pages from Roulette or not yet? Okay.
I'd like to be ourselves in the approach to Rhea.
Okay. At this point, as you guys near the tree line, you can see a soldier just like walking around, walking along a paved dirt road, flattened dirt road. It wouldn't be paved and dirt. And then you do see off in the distance as well, just the form of a large warg pass behind two buildings. You are now entering a dangerous radius. Are you attempting to move in stealthily? Okay. At that point, I'd like everyone to please roll stealth. With Pass Without a Trace, if that's Rome's intention.
Yes,
Okay. So, Rome, you are concentrating on Pass Without a Trace. Stealth rolls, please.
Is that a spell for you, or is it an activated ability thing? Once per day.
So.
I'm rolling with advantage for my cloak.
Disadvantage.
And then add 10.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. What have we got here?
I'm so snaky.
15 total for Toby, or is
For
25 total? Okay, 25.
Sneakier than you are.
Everyone is very sneaky. Alfie and Roulette sort of bringing up the rear with a 13 and a 17. Is that right?
Yeah.
With a plus 10.
Okay.
That is the plus 10, yes. I rolled a 3 and a 7.
25, 17, 30, 32, 26.
Holy Schmidt!
It's not bad. It's certainly not bad.
It doesn't matter a ton, but detection against me is with disadvantage.
Yes, understood. Yep. I may have been rolling for stealth for another individual. As you guys evaluate, you haven't studied the patterns at large of these individuals walking through the streets, but as you see one of the guards walking away and you think you get a bead on what's probably a warg in the distance, not currently in active perceptive threat, you guys are able to push quickly up to Boris's farm building. You immediately see, first of all, for the first time, you re-enter For's Hollow. And it is not a pretty sight. Most of the buildings are heavily burned, thatched roofs caved in and crumbled. Only some of the buildings look like they have been minimally repaired, likely for sporadic use, but not long-term living. Most of this city is in virtual ruin from the original assault on it. But because of that, when you approach Boris's somewhat dilapidated, ruined building, you see a single, the side of an arm peeking out the side, someone leaning inside the building, and through a window, you see an individual, green-skinned, and you do identify that to likely be Rhea.
But we see another arm, of someone?
No, you just saw, you're just seeing a tinge of green. She had stealthed, but some of you are able to, with your passive perception, see past her stealth roll. but she is seemingly inside the abandoned and ruined building of Boris's farmstead. But you basically see indication of her.
I thought you were saying there was someone else there.
I'm gonna just like ting her brain. Rhea, not to freak you out, but we're here. It's Topirian.
Yeah, with that, she'll direct her thoughts to you. Telperian? Interesting. Seems you all have gathered some tricks, I suppose. And she sort of shifts her face around, sees you all, tilts her head, and urges you inside. And you're able to come together with Rhea inside the building. And without an emotional, excited greeting, more dutiful, she will go up to whoever of you first is sort of in charge, grasp your forearm the way the Noras do. It's very good to see you all. I have really had my fill of evading their eyes this afternoon. Any longer and they might have caught me. Glad to see your journey was not delayed. Oh, with a new companion, I see. Greetings, my name is Rhea.
Alfie extends a hand.
Jesus Christ.
She had seen Alfie. But certainly directing this greeting to Rome.
Oh, and Reaver Jiri. Oh, it's me. It's Jerry. Don't worry.
Oh shit! Yeah, you see her as you round the corner. She draws her bow, but you all pause her paranoia. Well, hopefully you've been all brought up to speed on my conversation with Toby. I've checked various buildings in the last, I guess, 24 hours or so. I can't, unless he's with the Thane in Town Hall. I think Jokel's being held at the fort. He's a tough guy, as Roulette well knows, and you as well, Toby.
Huge bad saves.
He won't last that long against torture. They will want to know where I am and where our people are, and he's not going to give that information up. So he will die if we don't get there fast enough.
So the question is, do we kill them all as we go in? Or do we get to him and then kill them all on the way out? Are we killing as many as possible?
Or is it just get in, get out, think about what to do tomorrow?
I say we sneak. Don't alarm anybody.
I tend to agree. We can get out of here without any harm to anything.
It'll be like he just disappeared.
Hopefully,
I agree.
the two
In
traitors
theory, yeah,
can't do more to point them in the ruins direction.
Yeah. It also looks like in the past couple days, a couple refugees have been brought here from what we imagine is a wood elven village that was just recently burned. I think I've had eyes on 2 individuals so far. I haven't seen them in any of the buildings either, so
Again,
it's probably a
town hall or
a
mercenary.
gruesome. It's probably a gruesome scene in the basement below the Nora Fort. That's where I would put them.
Oh, you don't have to have a dead body in your book.
What?
A dead body in your book.
Like which book? The Dragon's Hoard or the Clothing book?
The Dragon Horde.
I don't believe I have a dead body in there. Let me double check.
That'd be perfect. We could leave it behind. They'd think he died instead of disappearing.
Well, the trouble is now we can't leave. If the refugees are alive, we can't leave them here.
Which I think now kind of confirms that we might be back soon to rescue them as well. If they're not here with Jokel, but
I don't think. I mean, if we rescue Jokel, they'll probably be moved. We're also not going to be any better prepared to come get them another night, so we might want to take all it.
That's why if we leave a dead body behind, they'll think he just died, and they won't be suspicious.
We need a clone of his dead body.
Or
Unless
we'd need to
mutilated in the face.
mutilate it, yeah.
Yeah, we'll just beat his face up, the dead body's face.
What makes me nervous also, assuming we have some level of success here, is not 2 days ago, a courier from Elandris. Every 2 weeks, a courier comes to check on status of things here, relay information, occasionally provide a caravan of resupply. Not more than 2 days ago, one left here. That puts us at 12 days remaining. If we cause a ruckus here, if we let anyone leave here, they could expedite this, but otherwise, someone's going to check in on Forest Hollow in over a week and a half.
So what are you saying?
I'm saying I don't want this place to be more reinforced than it already has been.
If we raise an
We
alarm,
strike-
we have to do something in the next 12. That starts a clock of 12 days before Forest Hollow is hollowed out. So I think Ray's on our page of let's not raise an alarm if we can.
Exactly. Maybe
but-
even, I don't know that it's a priority, but maybe even take out the watchtower along the way or first or something so that they can't shoot a flare arrow into the sky or send someone out past the gate if there's disruption in the streets. That worries me, how close they are to escaping the city. It's not
Where's
what
the
Jokel
watchtower?
is. It's west. And on this map, it's functionally over here, literally as far across town as possible from you guys right now.
What if we made a diversion? Like Rome, you could turn into a T-Rex and just stomp around out in the forest. They'll think it's just some random animal.
Or they all rush to go fight it as they think it's like an intruder.
Yeah, and you'll run away, and then they'll come back and be like, wow, good thing we scared off that T-Rex. What happened to our prisoners? They're gone.
This gets into a discussion
Ooh.
I would think would be better for back at the ruins is, let's be realistic. While Durest has control over Creatia, we can't take back Force Hollow and hold it. I don't think. They're just gonna send a significantly larger dispatch of troops if we try to take it. So I think we need to get people we care about out and try not to cause too much trouble.
Right, okay. So then back to the Operation Thane Switch plan. That way they'll never know. Right? We occupy it without them thinking it's occupied.
I like the idea though of the Thane. What if we just kill the Thane, kill a bunch of the soldiers, get a couple to run away, and then make it look like they betrayed the Thane, killed him, and now they don't have a leader? Like, they don't give a shit about False Hollow.
They don't care.
Probably would leave it alone if there wasn't like, I think there are more creative ways that we could sack this place and make it unappealing to them.
Okay, so mission now, go rescue Jokel. Stealthily, nobody knows anything. He just disappears, and then we'll figure out how to like do a Thane switch, take over this area
Within
without
the next 12 days. We can
without
do that.
causing a big army to come show up later.
Rhea, I imagine this is the intent behind you and the mercenaries, and you know, for all intents and purposes, you're our commanding officer now. But I assume you're just here to get revenge, because it's going to be a long time before we can move back in.
I know. So I guess the reinforcements kind of proved to Jokel and myself that our antics here weren't that valuable, but what we sought to do was just keep destabilizing them, keep them on their toes, make sure that they knew there's threat of attack so that they weren't, I don't know. The reinforcements really changed things.
We've got a lot of intel from the rest of the going-ons about this war, and so I'd like to get our people out of here tonight and go back to the ruins and have a discussion about how to move forward. Because any disruption to the Durastians, I think, is certainly a positive, as long as it's not fruitless or going to lead to more investigations towards the ruins.
Yeah. Yeah,
We
they
need to
won't
stabilize
find
the
out
watchtower
about
first.
Yeah, they won't. I don't know if you want to split up, if we should split up, but there's probably only 2 or 3 soldiers at the watchtower. I could occupy that space as you do something else in the city. If you wanted, we could divide and conquer a bit. I could handle 3 Durastian soldiers.
Ira gave us a potion of invisibility. Would you like that to almost guarantee a success on that? But then there's also the question of, once you see us getting out, do you feel confident in your ability to get out?
With a potion of invisibility, yeah, I could do that. My only worry is, would the potion be better suited for some other use? Certainly it would swing the percentage in my favor for the watchtower, but part of me wonders if I'd prefer that being used to Joe Kell's direct aid in some way. I don't know if it will be, but I'll take my chances at the watchtower if we go that route. You hang on to the potion.
Yeah, because we could use the potion and give it to Dorel to make him invisible.
We do have the gem, though.
I can escort him without harm, confidently.
What if we just all go do the watchtower together and then go to Joe?
Let's do that.
I think that could be worth doing.
Push.
How to get there? How to get there? We could. It'll take time, but we could skirt around the entire north side of the city and come around the west. To do so stealthily might take half an hour or more, but maybe a little more. It would probably take an hour to get there reliably. Do you want to just start heading out that way?
That's the quickest, stealthiest way we can get there, and I think that's what we got to do.
I think more importantly, it's the least patrolled by the wards.
That also works, yeah.
They have a rather heightened sense for sniffing things out. It's how they found us in the first place. They almost got me again today, but...
So you think there'll be 3 men at the watchtower, and we need to take them out and sabotage the watchtower so it can be used?
Unless it's at a shift change that brings a couple extra individuals, which I think is unlikely. Yeah, it should probably be 3, maybe 4 people.
All right, so either we need to break something in the watchtower so it can't be used without them knowing it, or we need to, in them seeing us, or we need to take out 3 to 4 of them simultaneously and silently, and then sabotage the watchtower.
Yeah, you got to understand too, the watchtower, with our group attacking 3 or 4 Durastian soldiers, should automatically succeed. We are going to win that scuffle. But if a single lit arrow flies into the sky, we're made. We can't let that happen. That's the issue here, or we're going to draw attention from more of the forces in the city. We have to strike hard, fast, and successfully. There cannot be error. If we can keep stealthy enough, we'll be able to catch them off guard and swing things in our favor quite a bit.
So we got a candle ready?
I have my candle ready. Got that. Also, for the sake of subduing any of them who try to run to shoot an arrow off, I could maybe trap them in the necklace and dispatch of them once they're not near a signal.
But it's not raining or thundering or something, so the arrows wouldn't work, or the thunder would cover up any yells. And Roman, Steve, are there any, like, I don't know what spells you have prepared, but is there anything in your arsenal today that could help frame our plan here?
Oh, I have something that could potentially trap all of them. And we could bind them, dispatch of them, whatever. I could put them all in a trance.
Ooh.
For a minute. Enough time for us to slit throats, put them in bonds, whichever we decide on.
Slitting throats.
We could also set up an area where if they walk into it, they'd be instantly damaged with spikes coming from the ground.
I think that might work best in the floor plan of the fort once we get there and run into larger amounts of people. I think.
Encourage them to run in a particular direction. Maybe if we had a particular like distraction or sound coming from one way, we can get them to all move in the same direction.
Oh boy, that sounds very alarm raising, though. I like the idea of incapacitating them and then pouring beer on them and then letting them just sleep, and when they wake up, they'll think they got drunk on the job, you know what I mean?
Can't tell when Jiri's being brilliant or foolish. Sometimes it's like the same thing at the same time.
Yeah, so we'll start Watchtower first.
Did we bring beer with us? We still have that wine?
I have 3 things of elvish wine that they would not have since they hate anything not human. So they might know, like, oh, someone knocked us out and then put wine on us.
All right. Next time we are at a bar, we gotta buy a whole keg of beer and put it in Roulette's bag.
I mean, I'm a fan of that. So what I'm thinking is, kill them as fast as possible. All of us, if whoever's not entranced by Toby, we need to wait till Toby's spell goes off. Then we disarm and kill any of them. Then we can put the bodies
affected by it. Yeah.
Put the bodies in the bag or whatever. But I like the idea of there being no bodies, even to like people just think they abandoned post.
Where'd they go? Yeah.
Because then ideally it'd be until a new shift change, which hopefully is for some hours.
Big mystery. I like it. Let's keep them confused. No bodies.
Thing to note, if any of them reaches for a crossbow or a short bow or long bow, they become the priority. If they light that shit in a torch and fire into the sky, we're in trouble.
Jokel's in trouble, so yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Let's do it.
But I don't know that even we can outrun the wargs. Like, they'll send help to that watchtower, so we'll be in trouble too.
We can escape, but I'd like to do so with Jokel secured.
Well, yeah. Okay. Well, let's head out. We can't waste any more time. Let's start working our way around the city. And with that, I would like a new group stealth check. You're still well within the hour of Pass Without a Trace. But by the time you arrive to the watchtower, that duration will be virtually concluded. Okay. Now, I haven't looked at every specific roll quite yet, but I'm going to... There will be at least 1 or 2 battle wargs. Not the armored variety, but regular ones that are sort of doing general sweeps at the side of a bugbear. Occasionally you see a bugbear riding a warg, sometimes one just walking at its side, even conversing with them in a language that none of you speak, but you know to be goblin. Those wargs have some level of intelligent comprehension with them. They do have advantage on these checks, so it will not have advantage against Telperion specifically. Does anyone else have a cloak of elven kind that does that?
Boots.
I think it's just Telperion. Yeah. So it'll do a normal check
specifically for Telperion, but that probably won't matter.
And Steve's
So
20.
Steve's rolled
Definitely-
18. That's 28, right?
Yep.
I think we're all above that.
definitely fails against Telperion. But otherwise, a fairly high roll, but you guys rolled well enough. Jiri, that 17's a 27, yes?
Yes.
I think
And
that
Roulette, that 21's a 31?
correct.
Holy shit. Very well done. Unanimous success. You guys just seize every opportunity to halt your pace and then hurriedly keep low profiles and dash along the inside of the gate to the north, sweeping all the way around to the west, and eventually arriving at the watchtower. You see it 100 feet off. You have made it here. But I think we'll save the approach on this for next session. We're pretty close to 4 hours here, and I don't want to dive into this for what could be a meaningful and lengthy thing depending on how it goes. But you have arrived with a intact Rhea at the watchtower for your first of potentially many skirmishes or encounters within this city this night. So that's also me giving a warning of, you guys have one short rest available left, but there's probably no long rests available unless you guys do something and get the fuck out. Depending on how long you occupy here, there could be more than one or two skirmishes, depending on how you guys move forward. So just keep that in mind for pacing yourselves on consumable usage. But with that, I think we'll call the session here. And next time we will assault Forest Hollow.
Woo!
Ha 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 ha.
GG group.
GG's. We didn't die.
Not yet.
Our friends didn't die yet.
Well, maybe he did. We don't know that.
You keep leaving these little crumbs of, oh, do we think Yuri's parents are alive, or either of them? Because we get to the ruins, not the parents. Oh, there's refugees who got captured and brought here. Are they going to be her parents? I don't know. His parents? I don't know.
Great loves breadcrumb.
I am a sucker for a breadcrumb. Breadcrumbs do not always lead to loaves of bread either.
Is Watchtower on the map here?
Yeah, it's functionally building 14, all the way on the west side of this map.
And then
You guys are
5.
functionally here. I'll make Rhea